Hey guys!
Yay! So, figure we'll wait a few minutes while people come say hi.
Yeah, absolutely. So do we see who pops up? They text in the bottom, or?
Ooh, I don't know about that. Let's see. Oh, yeah, there it is. Cool. Hey!
Hey!
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, absolutely.
This is our first YouTube live, so.
Yeah, so we're learning along with you. We gotta make sure we don't rock the table too
Ooh,
much,
good call.
it's like rocking the camera.
That's a good point. Okay, we're gonna try and not take you guys on
Hi, Andrea.
Hi, Andrea. Good to see you. Sorry, our iPad's a little bit further back, so we might have to like.
Yeah, we're just gonna
squint.
double check.
Hi, Shauna. Hi, Lillian.
But yeah, and we're filming off of an iPad. Usually we film off of a Canon G7X. And
which we do have that recording too.
We
so
do.
In case this doesn't go up, because I did a test earlier, and it was like a 30-second video, and it took forever to upload. So, and I was reading online that people have had trouble in the past. So we are recording this. It's just gonna be like a different view, but yeah, we'll have it recorded so we can upload it.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
So yeah, excuse any like technical difficulties we have. We're just kind of flying by the seat of our pants on this.
Also, might hear dogs barking.
Oh no, you will hear dogs barking.
It's gonna happen.
It is definitely gonna happen. They should be all right, but.
Hi, Linda.
Hi, Linda. How are you doing?
Hi, Steph.
Hey, Steph. How's it going?
Okay, so well, it looks like we've got about 27 people on, so I guess we can get going and start answering some questions.
Not just us sitting here.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
What got you
we got
interested in dyeing yarn? Actually, that was one of the questions we had to answer. So we can start with you, I guess, because you were the one that started.
It's actually, I was thinking about this the other day. It's actually really funny. Back when I first started the podcast, when it was called Knitting from the Mitten, I had done a knit along, co-hosted it with Catherine. She was in Germany. And we had decided to do like a trade of dyeing yarn because we had neither of us had tried it. And so we decided to both try it, and then we were going to use, we were going to dye up a couple of skeins and use them as prizes as well and swap them. So I did some videos from Nicole Huloco on YouTube, and I just tried it that way, and then I ended up really, really liking it. Definitely. And so that was like,
I'm going to see if I can get really quick, I'm going to see if I can get a little conversation thing here going.
Oh yeah, so we can see, so if they go
all
away.
All messages are visible.
There we go. Cool.
Yeah, so we weren't able to see like most of the messages.
Yeah, they were popping up and going away.
Alright.
Oh cool, we got lots of them.
What are the best exercises, sorry about this guys, to trip down hips?
Oh, maybe trim down hips?
To trim down the hips? Okay, actually, I will answer that really quick. So if I'm assuming you were typing trim down the hips. So we can't trim. Yeah, trim. Okay, perfect. So as far as trimming down specific body parts, it's actually not possible with a specific exercise. We would love to be able to spot reduce, but it doesn't really work. What ends up happening is we are all genetically predisposed to store adipose tissue or fat in certain areas. Some people hold it in their hips, some people hold it in their waist, some people hold it in their face, their thighs. It's just how it ends up working out for us. We kind of get the hand that we're dealt. What you can do though is what you want to work towards is actually a total body strength conditioning program. And so that includes all of your major muscle groups, your chest, your legs, so quadriceps in front of the legs and the hamstrings in the back of the legs, glutes, abdominals, back, shoulders, and when you decrease your overall weight, generally those things tend to follow, and generally what we end up doing is losing weight all over from every place at once. But since we're genetically predisposed to store fat in different places, sometimes it doesn't look like it's coming off of one place, and it looks like, oh, you'll hear people say, I always lose it in my face first. Well, we tend to store the least amount of fat in our face, so you tend to see it first come off.
Yeah, definitely. So like when people say, oh, I'm going to do crunches to lose, fat in their belly.
Right.
It's kind of the same
It's great for you. Like, you should be doing crunches because it's going to increase, assuming you don't have any other, spine issues or neck issues or anything like that. because it's good to increase your abdominal strength and your abdominal endurance, because that increases core stability, increases the stability for your spine, so that the core basically is an anti-rotation muscle as much as a spinal flexion muscle. So it helps you, carry uneven loads and protects your back and things like that. So I mean, it's very important to do those kinds of things.
But you can't target.
Right, exactly.
Let's see if we got some more. That beer looks good.
It is good. Golden Banquet's the way to go.
I love it. I'm drinking tea because last night I drank one of those Seagram things and I drank too much. Did not feel good. Okay, let's see. What's your favorite pattern to knit? Oh gosh, I don't even know. I should have thought about this ahead of time. Okay, I think I'm more of a process knit, I have found out. Or process knitter. So I really like, but I go back and forth, honestly. But I really like, for a process knit, my favorite is like my Cozy Memories blanket. Anything scrappy that has all of the colors.
Right on.
That's my favorite. Yeah, I love that. Let's see.
And for me, it's anything I can finish.
You're getting there. Okay, where's the next one? Tiffany, would you ever quit grooming dogs to dye yarn? Also, what has been your favorite colorway you've dyed so far? Okay, so I have thought about this. I don't know because I really, really love grooming dogs. And I've been doing it for 6 years, going on 7 years, and I really, really love it. I love the puppies, and we actually talked about this once, that I can't imagine not seeing dogs every day. Like one time Ethan was like, I don't remember the last time I saw a puppy. Like it was like years. It's like, I think I honestly put my hand to my chest and I was like, oh gosh, I can't even imagine not seeing a puppy. So, sorry. Okay. But yeah, oh my gosh, what else? My train of thought. I think at the most I would probably go down to part-time, maybe, but that's not really something that I'm thinking of doing in the near future, but that would probably be the most I could do, because I really, really love it. I love the babies. I love them so much. So yeah, okay, I'm gonna try and not, oh my gosh, I keep hitting that button instead. Let's see here. And I forgot.
Hi from Ben Conning. How's it going?
Oh, cool. Neighbors.
Carol.
That's awesome. What's your favorite colorway you've dyed so far? So, why don't we both answer this one? So, okay. My favorite, oh gosh, I can't choose. I'm a worst chooser ever. Probably, I really like Tonks and Fedora Tonks. Yeah. I really like that one. What about you?
My favorite colorway, I think it would depend on the process. My favorite colorways, as far as what I think looks the best, at least to my eye, is actually Earl Grey, which was one of your colorways. I love how
but you really like come up with a good way to dye that one, though. I really like how you've taken it.
But my favorite process is probably Strawberry Rhubarb Pie. That is a ton of fun.
Yes, love it. Okay, let's see. What's our least favorite colors? Oh, I don't have a least favorite color.
And if you're asking my least favorite
having
color,
to pick one.
if you're asking my least favorite color, probably teal. But as far as dyeing, like dyeing yarn, my least favorite color is hands down fuchsia. I can't stand dyeing fuchsia. It bleeds every single time.
I love fuchsia. But yeah, it's a pain to dye, definitely.
It is. It's so hard to get to set right.
It is. Let's see. What is the method Stacey. You use to? Oh yeah, thanks, Stacey. Or you're welcome, Stacey. Thanks for the questions. What is the method you use to block your FOs? I generally will do. I just put it in a wool bath, like I use a wool soap. Put it in a bath, and then I roll it out on a towel, and then I either lay it flat to dry. If it's a shawl, I use blocking wires and I pin it out, and then. For socks, I just put them on a sock blocker. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's see here. Ooh, hi from California. Cool.
Kim asks, Tiffany, do you dye also?
Yes, I do.
She actually taught me how to dye.
Yeah, yep. So I started dyeing initially 2 years ago, soon after I started this channel, and then and then, gosh, about a year ago now is when you started.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I was like having a really hard time balancing full-time job and doing the yarn dyeing.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had offered to come on and learn, and it was definitely a really good thing that you did that, because your dyeing is awesome.
Well, I had just gotten out of school,
Mm-hmm.
and I was running study groups for one of my old instructors for the physical therapy students, because they had to take exercise physiology as well, and so I had a little bit of time on my hands. Was just getting started with clients, and so I just kind of started, and then it took off.
Yeah, it was awesome. So awesome.
Now I do that the majority.
Yeah, now he dyes the most, which I love. It's been nice for me to take, because I kind of burnt myself out on it last year, and so I kind of found out that I really like being like the knitter. I like knitting up our colorways and things like that, and he's got a really good color sense, where I'm just like, yeah, you totally do. And I'm like, all of the colors. So we kind of balance each other out that way. And so, yeah. Let's see, what else
Can you guys come up to Ontario? Finally, you're only like 3 hours from me.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely. It'll be a party. Right.
Yes, I love Canada. I haven't been there forever. Oh, we just
have you ever spun dog hair?
Yes, I have.
And kudos to anybody that can do it. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
But
it smells.
Our dogs smell enough when they're wet.
Yeah. And oh my god, I can't imagine trying to spin lamb hair. I don't even.
Well, you could. No, I don't think you could.
Yeah, it's got. I don't know. It's got a really, because you go by staple length, so lab hair staple length would be like this. It'd be hard. So like how long the fiber is.
Gotcha.
So the one that I did was it was Sheltie fur. It was after we had done a furminator treatment, which is like a de-shedding treatment on a Sheltie, and
sounds intense.
Yeah, it's just a brand, and
they should say I'll be bark.
The furminator.
Yeah.
So I got the hair from that. It was clean, and I was like, it was when I first got into spinning, and I had just done like some roving of some wool that I had, and I was like, oh, I bet I could spin this, and so I totally tried it, and it worked, and it's smelly, but it's kind of cool. Okay, so let's see. Oh, let's see. That's Julie. Hi, Julie.
Hey, Julie.
Okay, so have you considered dyeing on a worsted base at all?
We actually did, didn't we? Once?
I think so. We're kind of like sticking with the DK at the moment.
I could have swear we had a worsted base in the shop at one point.
No, we didn't. I don't think we ever had one.
I actually just dyed up some worsted yarn.
Yeah.
Not for the shop. This is for me personally, but yeah. This is from the last podcast. We were talking about dyeing up that non-super wash for my hat.
Yes.
And it worked out. Hunter's orange.
So perfect. So you'll definitely be visible out in the woods.
Hi, Hook Dolls.
Hi, Lacey.
Lacey.
Yes, we're gonna see her at Michigan Fiber Fest.
Oh, right on.
She's my Hanson buddy.
Oh, I know. Okay, hi, Lacey. I know who you are. Yeah.
Okay, I have a Pomeranian. Sometimes I think it would. Yes, you could totally spin Pomeranian. Oh, come on, it's the best. It's the best. I like knowing my dog's hair is incorporated in all my items. It's hard to keep it. Yes, that is so true. All right.
I don't know about Hanson.
Hanson is the best.
How long did it take you to find a yarn supplier that you were satisfied with? Pretty quickly.
Yeah.
We didn't have a whole lot of trouble. My mom actually went on a search for
She found it for us. That was so cool, and it was kind of like, well, let's just give it a shot. And we
originally had gone with knit picks, and our issue was that they're very, very popular, and so we would run into issues where we would need an order of yarn, and it would take sold out for a month or two at a time, which wasn't as much of a problem when we first started out, but then it got to be an issue when we need our orders in pretty quick. So
yeah, exactly. Let's see if we got any other questions. Okay, so it looks like we're caught up on the questions that have come in. So we do have some from the Instagram. From the Instagram giveaway. Mm-hmm. So why don't we start with how did we learn to knit? So you go first.
I think we all know how I learned to knit. Tiffany taught me how to knit. It was last year, about this time, maybe a little bit after. Yeah. It was right before hunting season. I wanted something to work on while I was in the blind. Found out I liked it. Yeah, it was really cool. Well, it just kind of helps you like zen out while you're out there. And it helps me do stuff because I can't really, I'm all right at sitting still for a little while, but I tend to sit for like all day. I'll get out at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning,
Early.
and not come home till it's dark.
Super early.
It's just kind of nice to be able to do that. How did you learn to knit?
I learned to knit from my mom. The first round was not successful, but in her defense, I picked the Bella's Mittens pattern, which was really big when Twilight came out.
Oh, Twilight.
Yeah.
You guys will never, we got started to tell you about Twilight later. But.
Yes, we do. Remind us if we forget. It's really funny. I wanted to knit those mittens really bad, and they're like cabled, and like I don't think I had ever knit anything. And so I was like, Mom, teach me how to do this. And like, it was like, okay, do magic loop and all of this and that. And then please make the undergarment face stop. She knows the story. Okay, let's just tell the story because it's too good to forget. It's too good not to.
When I was younger, I used to apparently look like, what's his name?
Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson. I got it everywhere.
When he shaves his face, he really does.
Steph knows something. She does. So I used to look apparently a lot like Robert Pattinson. I didn't see it, obviously, but
everyone else did.
Because I have no facial hair, and it's been since I've had facial hair since I was like 18, 19 years. So it's been a long time.
You like go off and on with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But and so I used to get it literally everywhere I went. People, they go, "Has anyone ever told you?" And I knew exactly what they were gonna say.
We were at McDonald's in St. Louis, Michigan, which is like a really tiny town. It's actually where I'm originally from. And this lady at the checkout or at the counter at McDonald's was like, "You look like that guy from that vampire movie." I just lost it.
Yeah, they do kind of have a little bit of a twang in St. Louis, don't they? No.
I don't know why I gave her a southern accent, but I totally did.
But she told me all about how I looked like him, and I should have played it up.
You should have like free. Fun fact: I actually saw Robert Pattinson. That's the look. But yeah, I saw him in New York when I lived there for a little bit, and he was filming Remember Me, and it was like there was like a bunch of girls in the median on Park Avenue, and he was like across the way filming.
I always think of that scene in Hercules, where the girls are trying to drive him out of the town, and he's trying to get away, and Phil's all in.
It's my favorite Disney movie ever.
But
okay, so how did I learn to knit? I wanted to knit these mittens, and we did not even get past the cast on. That was how this went. Like, it did not go well. I had already learned to crochet from my mom. That went well, but this did not go well. And that was pretty much the end of it. Then a couple years later, when I was living in New York, a friend of mine, Maureen, she had taught me how to knit, because I don't know if I just asked, or I don't even remember how it came up. But I had asked her to show me, and she did, and she showed me Continental, where my mom had showed me English the first time. And the Continental, like, totally stuck with me, and I took off from there. I kind of did it off and on after that. That was in 2009. And then probably the last 6 years or so was when I really started to, like, obsessively knit, but, like, daily. Okay. Did we get any more questions come up? Please make that still kills me. Please make the Edward Cullen face. Steph, aw. She said, Tiffany taught me how to knit too. So sweet. Steffi's my best friend. She was my roommate in college, and we were best friends since high school.
What's your favorite inspiration for new colorways?
Yes.
So, I'd like to say there's a singular inspiration, like a flash of genius that happens, and like a eureka moment, and there's not. Usually, what happens is we start out with a completely different direction that we want to go.
Almost always.
And then, because we do a lot of speckled yarns, the dye breaks in random ways. And
you got a new colorway that
you're
not even thinking of doing.
Right, exactly. And, you'll start with something, I want to do something really earthy and tonal, and then, it's glamorous!
Yes,
yes. Yeah, no, that's how it usually goes. But as far as the direction that we tend to go is, like, natural colors, outdoors. We're really big into the outdoors.
Yeah, very nature-inspired. And then, like, I feel like you do that really well. I struggle with doing that. I like thinking of like colorway names that are nature inspired, but for my colorways, I feel like it's just bright colors. Like I see them, we just have a bunch of powder dyes, and I'm like, ooh, and it's almost like finger painting at that point. I just throw all the colors.
Do you name the colors after you dye them or before?
Almost always after. But
Almost always.
I feel like sometimes we'll name them before, like, you know, this is the colorway, we should make a name to go with that. But almost always afterwards.
Almost always. Yeah, because they take on so much personality after you're done dyeing them. And you really can't even name, we usually end up putting the final name on the colorway when it's dried and, you know, all skeined up and everything.
Yeah.
Because that's when you really see the color. There have been several instances where I've dyed up a colorway and set it out to dry, and I'm like, this thing is just a pile of turds. Like, I do not like this. And then by the time it's dry, I love it.
Yes, I go through like a roller coaster of emotions when I dye. I'm like, I love doing this.
Does.
And then I'm like, I hate doing this. I'm the worst dyer ever. And then it dries, and I'm like, oh, I really like it. It's cool.
Do you dream about knitting and dyeing yarn? Yes.
Oh, totally.
Yes. After big dye day, I do.
Yep.
For sure.
Definitely. Oh, hey, little bean. It's Kayleen. Okay.
Let's see. Are we working towards dyeing full time?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Definitely.
Between the two of us, I think we are like a full time and a half employee.
Yeah. I dye about like once a month, I think is what I've kind of. It just, I do it now. I kind of just do it when I feel like it, because like I said, last year I really burnt myself out on it to the point that I didn't even want to look at yarn. I just didn't want to even like look at it. Well, not like for knitting, but like for dyeing. I did not even want to look at it. Like it was like, nope. I had done too much.
How do we choose the colorway names? Well, actually, it's kind of different every time. Sometimes it's the way that the color looks. I mean, sometimes it look like Dragon Egg was a pretty clear example where it just looked like something I imagined a dragon egg to be.
Yeah.
And I knew, you know, we like to stick to a couple of different themes. Food, because love food. Harry Potter stuff, because we're both Harry Potter nerds.
Yes.
And
I have a
natural stuff.
Pop socket. I got that for my birthday.
Other times we'll do market research and kind of figure out what's popular in the knitting community and try and dye up something that we sort of think that fits that sort of trend. Yeah. That's how Groovy Unicorn and Happy Little Narwhal kind of
totally.
A lot of people wear that sort of stuff.
And I'm like a Happy Little Narwhal. It has like a mint base and then just like all these crazy color speckles. And I really wanted this. I wanted to achieve this minty green color, and I remember it was being too saturated, so I had to really work on getting it the exact colorway that I had wanted. But Pinterest for me. I love using Pinterest. Hi from Greenville.
Hey, Greenville, how's it going?
All right, will you ever make up a colorway for Michigan? Yes.
Actually, that was
my very first one. Yeah, we never dyed it again. We should remake it in a way. Michigan Sunset. That was my very first one. And I dyed that on non-superwash.
Yeah?
Yep.
That's impressive.
I didn't know what I was doing.
What was it that inspired you to start dyeing your own yarn?
Oh, well, I kind of touched on that earlier. That was that knit along was what got me going. And then, you just wanted to kind of come on and help with the load of.
Would we ever do trunk shows or yarn festivals?
I think so.
Absolutely.
It's not something that we're like, this is going to happen like immediately. I gotta turn on our camera. But it's definitely, there we go. It's definitely something that we definitely would consider doing.
Now, what house is Ethan? Okay, real quick, in the comments, put what you think Ethan is.
Yes, let us know what you think, what house he is, just based on what you know of him. Oh, that's a good idea. That'll be fun. I'm curious.
We'll tell you. I got a Pottermore account and everything.
Oh yeah, it's official.
That makes it official. Have you thought of opening your own sticks and brick shop, seeing as how we don't have one here in Midland?
Oh, I would love to. But I don't think it's going to happen.
Probably not. We really do enjoy the e-commerce end of things, which kind of ties back into the trunk shows and the yarn festivals. I think that's definitely a possibility for us. It requires a definite setup and a definite change in how you do things as far as the amount of product that you dye up. We are able to pretty much stock what we have based on the demand for the product. I don't really have any experience, neither of us do, with going to yarn festivals and seeing like how much of each product do we
Right.
buy up.
Yes. But thankfully, we know a lot of yarn dyers that have, so we can, kind of get information from
We
them.
will
which
be
is
at the
really
Michigan Fiber Fest.
nice. Was that the next question?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, we will
So,
be
wow,
there. Not
this-
vending, but we will be visiting.
Ashley, I
yeah.
can't wait
yeah.
for Michigan
Yep.
Fiber Fest. Yeah.
I know it's gonna be so much fun. Yeah, there's gonna be a meetup. Anybody that's watching that hasn't heard, there's gonna be a podcaster meetup, 3 to 5, I believe. Lacey, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's 3 to 5 at the Carousel. So, yay! I'm so excited.
Wondering how you found your first adult sweater. I've
Knit
made at
these.
least 20 baby sweaters and a few toddler sweaters, but I'm worried. Here we go. I'd get sick of the color and pattern. How do you power through?
Okay, I have a really good recommendation. My first sweater was a bulky weight sweater. Strongly recommend your first sweater to be a bulky or even worsted and up, because it goes quick. So you're gonna see progress quickly, and you're not gonna necessarily get sick of it. Also, if you start to get sick of a project, I like to have like 50 projects going, so that way I can just kind of flip between back and forth.
Yeah, you keep a lot of projects
Yes.
on the needles.
My Ravelry page does not lie; it's all there.
It is.
All right, what else do we have? Okay, Lacey says that's correct, 3 to 5 on the 18th. Yes, perfect. Okay.
Oh, hi from France. We have international.
Cool.
Right on.
That's cool. Hi from France.
How did we learn our dyeing techniques? That was a combination of different things. Actually.
Yeah.
I learned entirely from her, and a few sparse YouTube videos here and there.
Yeah. But then you kind of also like came up with some own techniques on your own, which I thought was really cool. And then mine were my initial ones were from Nicole of Hugh Loco. You can find her on her YouTube channel. She has a lot of dyeing tutorials on there, and that's where I learned initially. Let's see, do we have another question? Hello from Texas.
Don't worry, Lisa, you didn't miss us. We'll be here for a probably pretty long time.
Oh yeah, we
tonight.
can talk forever.
Absolutely forever. Hey, from Texas.
And she got our yarn today.
Hey, Susie.
Thank you for your order, Susie. Do you like M&M?
Do I like Eminem? I have a
I love that.
I have a love-hate relationship with Eminem's music because I actually really do enjoy the rap and guitar along. You didn't know that before we got together.
Had no idea. And we have known each other since we were like really young teenagers.
Yeah.
I
but
did not know
speak
that.
it.
Hi from Carol. Hi, Carol.
But
Hi, and Carol.
I do enjoy listening to some of Eminem's music. There's some of it that I'm just like, dude, do you really need to say that? And and there's other music that I think that comes out of it and it's awesome.
I like the nostalgic feel of it because a lot of it came out when we were like grade school.
Totally.
And so like some of that I'm like, aw, like it's just funny. Like Slim Shady is hilarious.
All right. Well, Carol, right on.
Yeah, another neighbor. Okay, what else we got?
Favorite pattern to knit?
I think we kind of talked
We
about
did
that.
talk about that, yep. Okay, we've got, what's a recommendation for someone starting out in the dyeing business?
Yes.
That's a big one, actually.
Yes.
So, why don't you start out with your recommendations,
Okay.
and I'll go for mine.
So I would recommend, I do recommend an Etsy shop for when you're first starting. I think they do a really good job of like getting your training wheels on, so you don't have to do like a whole big website and everything. And then as far as like promoting yourself, I would say the biggest thing that I have learned is consistency. I listen/watch the podcast called Explore Your Enthusiasm, and she really was very motivating for me, very helpful, and a lot of like tips on how to get your business off the ground. So that would be some of my recommendations. And also, do not feel bad. Like, don't beat up yourself if you feel like you're not getting anywhere. Just keep plugging away. Also, build a following. That helps very well. Because otherwise, no one's gonna know that you've got anything. If you don't, you can make your Instagram account and just go out there, make friends, make genuine relationships with people. That would be my suggestion.
I think my suggestion is to identify a goal. If you're going in and you're starting a business, you've got to do one of two things. You either have to find something that no one else is doing, or you have to do something that's better than everybody else is doing. You have to offer something that someone else doesn't offer, or you have to do it better than everyone is doing. And that always starts with a goal. So you have to clearly identify your goal, and then you have to realize that it's going to be tough, and that the only person that can actually stop you, assuming you're living in a free country, the only person that can stop you from achieving your goal is you. People can tell you you can't do it. They can make it more difficult. They can be discouraging, but they can't actually stop you unless they're actually chaining you to the wall to prevent you from dyeing yarn and to prevent you from marketing yourself.
It's got to keep plugging.
Yeah, exactly. We have so many resources out there. If you can't, even if you can't afford to go to college to take marketing and advertising courses, and you don't have any other resources, go to the library. There's books there. Research marketing, research advertising. Understand that it's going to be an incredibly difficult job. If you, depending on the amount of success that you want, if you want to sell a skein of yarn here and there,
if it's just a hobby, and maybe that would be another thing is decide for yourself: is this just a hobby, or do you want to make this a sustainable business?
But if you really want to make it a sustainable business, understand from the gate that you've got a lot of benefits that come with entrepreneurship. You've got a lot of downsides that come with entrepreneurship.
Right.
And the benefits, obviously, being able to make your own schedule and freedom as far as how much you pay yourself. Sometimes not having a clear-cut schedule to go, I'm definitely done. I'm done tonight because I clock out at 9 p.m. Sometimes that can be kind of tiring.
Right.
So, but definitely it all goes down to stick to a goal, identify the goal, and realize that no one can prevent you from stopping what you want to do if you're determined enough. If you're determined enough and you want to make it happen, you will find ways to make it happen.
Yeah, totally.
Even if it's Breaking Bad style. I'm convinced that's what they think when we got the respirators out in the garage when we're dyeing yarn.
I know. Oh my gosh, our neighbors must think we're crazy.
I think we're crazy.
Well, we are crazy. Okay, let's see. Oh, we got goodness. Okay.
Some of that's conversation, it looks like, within the group. So.
Oh, okay, perfect. Will you dye in vibrant yellow and black colorway with no gray in it?
Yeah, actually, we got a comment. Maybe you're the same. Who said that? Lisa. She might have been the one that commented.
Yeah, we had a comment on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, we're definitely going to make that happen for sure.
Do you speak French? I do not, and you don't either. Although maybe you get more of those beers, and I might be speaking French.
I speak. What is it? Lady Marmalade. Marmalade.
Yes.
You know the song.
Of course I do. I love Moulin Rouge. That's about the most French I can do. I love Moulin Rouge, which is all covers anyways. I do speak German though. German's mine.
I do when I have enough of these.
Do you do any non-animal fibers? No. We haven't done any like cotton or anything like that.
No.
Favorite needles, Steph says. Recommendations for interchangeable set. Okay. Oh goodness. Okay, my favorite needles are, I really like high sharps, but I found out that I really like to have the wood and the metal needles. I think primarily I tend to like metal needles more. I think you found that as well for you, that you really like.
I have to. Yeah, I think it works out better for a beginner.
Yeah.
Like me anyway, because.
Yeah, totally.
Like your tension doesn't seem to be that much.
Yeah, and I think they tend to be tighter, when you're first starting out. So it's nice to have the metal ones.
I'm gonna try and bring you guys a little bit closer so we can start reaching so far.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So yeah, I really like those. Like splurge wise, the signature needles that I got for my Cozy Memories blanket that you got me for Christmas. Oh my gosh, those are really nice. However, I do think that high sharps are a fantastic, like, especially for the price. They are really, really cost effective.
And if you're not an orangutan like me,
yes,
they last a long time.
Yes. And but yeah, I really like the wood needles a lot. Knit Picks has interchangeable sets that are super cost effective as well. So
what are some of your favorite podcasts that you watch?
Oh gosh. Okay, first of all, do you have any favorites? Because you watch them like because I'll watch them and you're kind of just like there. So are there any that you kind of like?
Oh man,
put you on the spot.
Molly from A Homespun House is awesome.
Yep.
I think she's got a really, really cool atmosphere. when she was
It's
doing
very
Vlogmas.
calming.
She was doing Vlogmas with her husband at the exact same
Yes.
time that we were doing Vlogmas, so that was a lot of fun.
That was really
to
cool.
watch. It was kind of like there was definitely almost felt like there was like a camaraderie kind of thing going. I mean,
because it was a husband and wife.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it was definitely that was definitely fun.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I love Homespun House.
And Danny and Little Bobbins.
Oh, I think
Danny. You know, for
She was my
especially
first
for the
one.
nostalgic thing, because I remember you always talking about
Yeah,
watching
when I
them.
first got into podcasts, she was one of the first ones that I really, really liked, and I went back and watched all of hers, and she's one of my favorites. I love her. I love the Grocery Girls. I think they're hilarious. I love Yarn Hoarder. Oh my gosh, I love so many. I really do. I have like subscribed to so many on my thing. So, but yeah, those are some of my faves for sure. But I know there's some that I'm missing. I love like fiber arts. I love so many. Did we get any more? Let's see. Advent calendars. Oh, and favorite sock knitting pattern. So, favorite sock knitting pattern. I really like blueberry waffle socks. I am not big into. I like my favorite's vanilla, but I'm not big into like sock patterns because I just tend to want to have a sock that's just plain so I can take it with me anywhere. But I love the look of the pattern socks. So like the monkey socks, I started those but did not finish them. And I really like the blueberry waffle socks because it's a pattern, but it's still really easy. And then there was another question after that. Oh, will we do advent calendars? I don't think that's something we're gonna do just because of the amount of.
It might happen next year.
Yeah, maybe
probably
next
not
year.
this year.
Because I know a lot of people have already done them and sold theirs, and have already started making them. But yeah, I don't think that's something that we'll be doing this year. And let's see here. Yeah, Julie says definitely use a worsted for your first sweater. Fingering will seem like running a marathon. Yes, it took me a year to do my first.
I'm from Huntington Beach. I'm from Alaska. Right on.
Cool.
Alaska's gorgeous. I've always wanted to go there.
You gotta exactly. You've gotta want to do it, commit to it, and do it for yourself. Push yourself, compare yourself to yourself, no one else. Yes, for dyeing.
Yeah.
For dyeing yarn if you're in a new business. Yes, I agree, Kayleen. Okay.
How do I gain weight?
Oh yes, yep. We got a question on our YouTube video for how do you gain weight? Because a lot of people are always like, how do I lose weight? But there's also the other side of how do you gain weight.
So as far as gaining weight, gaining and losing weight, assuming you don't have some sort of a metabolic disorder, like a hyperthyroidism or anything like that, it all does come down to calories in versus calories out, but you can make it a lot more effective. So what you have to consider is total daily energy expenditure, TDEE. And there's a couple of different things that comprise that. Basically, your total daily energy expenditure is how much your body burns at rest doing normal things to maintain homeostasis, like your heart beating, your lungs working, regular cellular respiration, things like that. And that's RMR. So resting metabolic rate. It accounts for about 65 to 70% of your daily energy. Then you have the thermic effect of food, which is like 7%, which is basically the calories that are burned by burning calories. And you have physical activity induced energy expenditure. So, which is the rest of it. So as far as for women, I actually wrote down a formula to help you figure out total daily energy expenditure. If you're a female 19 to 30, and there's calculators all over the internet for this too, so you can just type in total daily energy expenditure calculator and they'll get you pretty close. But for females 19 to 30, it'd be 14.818 times your weight in kilograms. So if you need to get your weight in kilograms, that's just your weight in pounds divided by 2.2, plus 486.6. For females 31 to 60, it would be 8.126 times your weight in kilograms, plus 845.6. After you do that, you would multiply that, if you're sedentary to light activity, by 1.4 to 1.69, up to moderate activity, which would be like 1.7 to 1.99, and vigorous activity, which is 2.0 to 2.4. So the main thing to consider after you get that number, you figure out, and that'll give you how much calories you're supposed to eat per day to maintain the weight that you're at. After you get that number, what you want to do is figure out how much protein you should be taking in. Protein's really, really important. It's kind of the building blocks of muscle. It's got, especially if you're eating animal-based protein, it contains all of the essential amino acids. If you're not eating animal-based protein, make sure that you're eating a combination of plant-based proteins to make sure that you're getting all of the amino acids to form a complete protein to build that muscle. When you're looking to gain weight, you're looking to build lean muscle. Lean weight, which is effective weight. You're not looking to generally you're not looking to build fat in place of muscle. So what you want is 1.2 to 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. And you also want to incorporate strength training. Start out with 200 calories above your total daily energy expenditure. And then if after a week you're not noticing any gain in weight at all, bump it up another 100 calories, and then bump it up another 100 calories until you're gaining about 1 pound to 2 pounds a week. And you do that until you meet your goal weight. When you've hit your goal weight, recalculate that total daily energy expenditure and stay there. So it's kind of long-winded, awesome. But that's
yeah. But
that's
I'm
how
looking
you
at your notes here, and I'm like, that is another language. He does speak another language, and it is personal training for sure. I'm like, oh my gosh, what does all that mean? It's insane.
Comment here.
Okay. Let's see. What's your favorite shawl pattern? Oh gosh. Okay. That I've knit. Okay. Finished product wise, I really, really love. I really love my speckle and pop shawl that I just finished. Mm-hmm. The process I did not love, but I'm very happy with the final product. And then my other one would be my Find Your Fade. That was also a really long process, but I love wearing that. Love wearing that one. Let's see. Chow Goo Needles Rock. Yes, they do. I love those as well. Okay, Kayleen says, what type of colorways are you drawn to? I always find myself stuck in earthy tones, and it's hard to bust out of that sometimes. I find that some of my more complicated colors are the most popular. Yes. Oh my gosh. The hardest ones to dye are always going to be the most popular ones.
Yeah, we sell out of one of the kinds immediately.
Yes.
Immediately. Like, man, are you kidding me?
Or like last year, when I had done the sweater weather colorway, and I think why that was popular because it was very like layered, and so it takes forever to dye when they're layered that way. And so we are rebooting that colorway to make it a little bit easier to dye. But yes, that totally agree. Wigan Tree color is Glaze City and so many layers. Yes, yes. Mm-hmm. Oh yes, totally. It's the worst.
Absolutely.
But also the best at the same time because it turns out so cool, you know. But yeah, and then I think what did she say about how do you okay, what colorways are you drawn to? What do you want for you? What colorways are you drawn to?
I've always liked earth tones, mm-hmm. Darker colors, browns, grays, greens. Green's my favorite color.
Yeah.
And I have a hard time breaking for it when I'm doing stuff, especially for myself. But when I'm dyeing, it's a little bit easier because I think of I'm dyeing this for someone else.
Right, and you're trying to like fill in the gaps, you know, of colors to make it well-rounded in our shop. But what I think is funny is you are way better at making like cohesive colorways that go together. Where I like
maybe I just don't think outside the box.
No, but
maybe that's the problem here.
Excuse me, but that works though because when I dye colorways, they tend to be like very standalone colorways, like they never generally go together, and so I love that.
My friend has told me about a theory that shorter people need fewer calories. Is that true or is it BS? It depends. Shorter people tend to be lighter, and people that are lighter tend to need less calories to maintain any given weight. But really, one of the bigger determining factors of the amount of calories that someone's going to need is their lean muscle mass. Lean muscle mass is going to be the biggest determinant because your lean muscle mass determines your resting energy expenditures. So the stuff that you do at rest, to just maintain your muscles. So someone that's 5'5" with a body fat percentage of 8%, which is a really low body fat percentage, would need probably more calories than someone that's 5'10" with a 30% body fat percentage in order to be healthy. So yeah, it really actually more depends on your lean muscle mass than your height and generally things like weight and age come into play as well. But as far as just going that person's short, and so therefore they need less calories than someone that's tall. No, generally not. Generally not.
That's so cool that you know that stuff. I can't even imagine. Alaska is definitely worth a visit. Be warned though, it gets in your blood.
I can believe it.
Oh, totally. My question is, what knitting/fiber skills are you hoping to master in the future? Oh boy. Oh gosh. What about you?
Knitting skills,
Mm-hmm.
probably. I would love to be able to finish an entire project without your help.
You will get there. You will.
I would love to be able to do that. I think color work is on my my mid to long term goals. Color work is
I think
there
you'd really like
for
it.
sure.
Definitely.
I think color work is rad.
Yeah.
Like I
I'm
want to
trying to
knit a
think of-
moose.
I think for me, oh goodness. I was just thinking today, I was watching the Charm of It podcast, and she was talking about how she knit a shawl with beads. I was like, oh, I've never done that. And I think that would be really cool. I've heard it's a little like fiddly and time consuming, but I think I want to try knitting a shawl with beads. I think that'd be kind of cool.
We should answer the one about her engagement story.
Oh yeah.
Because we got a ton of questions asking
We
about
we
that.
should like cover how we
yeah.
met, because people want to know how we met
Yeah.
and everything. So we should start. Yeah, let's cover that. How we met and then engagement, and yeah, I
Yep.
think that would work.
So my dad used to run a bagpipe band.
Yes, bagpipes.
Bagpipes. And her dad came to the band for lessons, and so I
Because
was
he used to
one of the
play
instructors.
way back when I was like either before I was born or when I was very, very young.
Yeah.
He had played. I don't remember him even
Yeah.
playing at all. So he came back into it later on.
Yep, and I used to be one of the players and one of the instructors. I was probably 13, 12, 13 when we
He's a
met.
champion.
Yeah, well, okay, yeah, I was.
He really was. It
I'm,
was so
I'm really
cool.
good at playing the bagpipes. I really try not to like stay humble, and like I really try with almost everything else I do. But sometimes you find something in your life that you're just even you have to recognize you're really good at it.
You were
That I'm
yeah,
really good at.
definitely, and like you practiced hours daily.
When I started, I
As a
practiced. I was 8 years old. Every single day, Monday through Friday, I would practice, and on Saturdays and Sundays, I practiced 8 hours a day, sometimes 10.
Yeah.
Went to competitions.
Because we have the Alma Highland Festival, which is a really, really popular festival.
Yeah, actually got to play with some of the best in the world. Bob Worrell. Along with some of the other guys over there, like from Scotland. So that was an awesome experience in my life.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I was an instructor for this band that my dad had created, and
you were like 12, 13.
Yeah, I was just a little
That's
guy.
just so cool.
And
you were competing.
And I don't play anymore.
We still have some, but
we still have
don't
some.
really
I
play.
just break them out once in a while, but
Yeah.
when the neighbors are up too late. But so he came over for some lessons, and eventually your dad, he was having problems with his eyes.
Yep, he had a problem with his eye, and he was not able to drive. And his job, his career was a piano tuner, and he would go to people's houses and tune their pianos. And I happened to be at the ripe age of 14 and had my learner's permit. So my job for the summer, yes. So my job for the summer one year was to drive my dad around to his clients, because he could still tune pianos, but his eye, it was just he couldn't drive. You know, he wasn't like blind, but it wasn't safe for him to drive. And so that was my job. I drove him around, and then he had gotten the okay from his doctor, because he had already joined the band beforehand, before he had hurt his eye. And then he had gotten the okay from his doctor he could go back to playing the bagpipes. So one Monday, was it Monday nights, I think, and he was like, "Okay, Tiff, we're going to bagpipe practice tonight." And you would learn on this thing called a practice chanter. It kind of looked like a recorder. So that was
like a strangled goose.
Yeah, so it was
like it does.
It was like
really
this tall, and so you didn't have a big whole bag that you were practicing on. And so he had gotten his out, and he was kind of like practicing. I was like, "How does that work?" I was like, I'm gonna try that, because my family is a very musical family. And so I had to restart this. He kind of showed me the scale, and I was like, he said, "They'll teach you if you want to join the band. It's free to learn. You just have to join the band and march in the band." I was like, why not? 14, Tiffany. Like, that's sounded like fun. So, yeah, so I had drove him over that night, and he got me a tanner and everything, and I learned, and then I met you. He was 13, I was 14, and
I was sword fighting.
You were sword
with
fighting.
fake swords with my brothers.
he was.
We were beating the snot out of
And I
each
was
other.
taller than you at the time.
You were taller, and I had long hair too.
Yep.
Wow, yeah.
You had a little
fun.
ponytail, and yeah, I was taller than you at the time, and then that did not last for very long.
Ooh.
Now you're 6 foot. I'm only 5'6", but
Well,
yeah.
it's kind of funny. You left the band for a little while because
Yep.
you went to school.
Yep.
And by the time you did come back after a little while, and we'd been apart for a long time.
Yep, and all of a sudden, super tall.
Yep. Well, and I'd been working construction for a while too.
Yep.
And so I'd lost a bunch of baby fat.
Yep.
And, yeah.
He beefed up. So I came back, and I was like, oh.
Well, we both
hi.
looked incredibly like.
But we had become friends, like instant friends. Like
Yeah,
when I first
yep.
joined, we were 14, and then there was our friend Laurel, who she literally started the week after I did, and we were like the Three Musketeers. She was the same age I was, and we were just best buds. There was a lot of kids and younger people in the band, and
Yes.
so it was really cool that way. I had a lot of friends that way.
We used
And,
to do historical reenactments, and we'd all
so
camp
fun.
out. We'd all camp
So
outside.
fun.
Yes, we did wear kilts.
Yes, we did.
I love a kilt, man. They are so comfortable.
Yep, real wool.
They are
and
so comfortable.
Yep, and we had wool. The stockings were wool, and yeah, that was super cool. But yeah, so we became friends through that, and we would hang out even like outside of the band, and we both had like a crush on each other, but like we
wouldn't say
anything, and like everyone else knew, but like they didn't say anything. And so like we basically ended up like friend zoning each other.
We totally friend zoned each other. She used to try and set me up with girls.
And then I got jealous.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that was that. And so we were friends all through our teenage years, and then in our early 20s we like helped each other through breakups. Like we stayed in contact the whole time, and then finally we were both single at the same time in our early 20s, and finally we're like, okay, this is happening. Like we both thought that we're like, this is happening. And so Kayleen says, isn't that how it goes? Yes.
Yeah, it totally. But I'm so glad we got together when we did, because I was such a little jerk.
You were
I was totally
You were
yeah,
great.
no, I
He was
really
always
was.
nice to me.
Well, yeah, because who can be mean to you? But I wasn't to anybody else. You know, when you're a younger guy, you got a lot of immaturity to get out of your system, and it was.
We had our phases.
We did have our phases for sure. But you know, But I'm really glad.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
am too. Shauna says that's the sweetest story. Thanks, Shauna.
So as far as how we got engaged.
Yes.
I love telling this story.
Yes, this is a good story. Tell the story.
Because I tell this story to every single young guy I know has asked me for advice on how to propose to their girlfriends. I'm like, you don't understand. You don't want my advice, because Tiffany would have been happy with a tinfoil ring.
It's totally true.
With like a little pea gravel rock in the place of a diamond. She'd have been fine with it.
I told you to. I was like, do not give me an expensive ring. I don't bother. Yeah, you didn't. And I was happy he didn't.
You actually got your engagement ring.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Yep.
It was just
Ooh, there's my camera. Okay.
But it wasn't big or
That's
fancy.
the engagement ring, and then that's my band.
But I'm like, don't ask me. I'm not gonna tell you anything fancy. And so it was my birthday actually.
Yep. And we got together on my birthday.
Yeah.
So it was like perfect.
And we knew like we were getting married at some point.
Oh,
It
yeah.
wasn't one of those like, I was not nervous in the slightest that she was gonna say no. Still nervous because, I mean, it's kind of an important decision.
You
I
know,
guess.
the rest of your life, you know.
You know, I mean, buying a new car, choosing a new car. Yeah, no, it was an important decision. So I had nerves going on, but it was my birthday, and I have this tradition on my birthday where I always go for a walk in the woods every single time. And I used to do it alone, but since we got together, we've always gone for a walk. And so we went up to my hunting spot because I didn't want her to guess, you know, what was happening.
And I'm not quick to these things either.
Well, I was originally going to do it on Christmas, but I did it on my birthday because, you know, I figured you would guess Christmas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Maybe. I'm not quick to those things. I'm really not. But I probably maybe would have gotten the idea. Yeah.
Right. And so we went out for this walk, and we're right next to my hunting blind. Like, because I went out there, I was like, hey, let's take this detour. Because where I hunt, my blind is actually kind of overlooks a really scenic, like, little ravine.
It's really pretty.
It's all pretty, and there's a little clear cut on the other side, and you can watch the mist rolling down the little ravine in the morning. It's gorgeous. And so I was like, let's go check out the blind. I want to see if anybody's messed with it, because I hunt on public land. We get over to the little path overlooking the ravine, and that's when I drop down to one knee.
Oh my god,
and,
I freaked
and
out.
So I tell these dudes, I say, listen, I proposed to my wife like 15 feet from my deer blind. You don't want my advice.
It was perfect for us though. It was so perfect. I loved it. I'm not one, believe it or not, I'm in the theater, but I'm not one for big shows. Like, that was totally perfect. It was everything.
Oh man. Little Bean and me, I gotta read this, seems like a really sweet story. Tyler proposed to me with a ring we got when we were dating.
Aww.
I was wearing it and he took it off. I had a bad day at work. It was 11 p.m. at night when I got home, and he took my ring off my hands. That is so sweet. Right on.
So cute. Oh, you got a question. Do we listen to Gaelic Storm?
Probably. I probably have.
I feel like we
not
have.
regularly though.
Yeah, I feel like we have. Maybe more in high school we did,
Right.
but I like it sounds familiar.
Hey man, do you watch soccer? No.
He doesn't like soccer.
I don't like soccer.
I like soccer.
I have played soccer. Soccer is actually not big in the United States at all. In fact, even when the World Cup's going, you hardly ever hear anybody talk about it. Part of it is because we have American football here, and the NFL basically has its fingers in everything as far as major sports go. And given that, we don't see a whole lot of soccer.
I love it. I love it because but I think my reason for it is because I took German all through high school and into college, and I actually got to visit Germany in high school, and we were there during the World Cup when Germany was hosting it.
Right.
So that totally like escalated it for me. It was like a different animal there, man.
And
it was so cool.
Yeah, in the United States, the traditional thing is for American football fans to totally rip on soccer
It
players.
is, yeah, it's kind of a thing.
From a
I
personal
like it.
training perspective, I can totally say soccer players are some of the best athletes in the world. It takes a crazy amount of athleticism to do what they do.
Yeah.
But
It's just not your cup of tea.
And man, if my brother-in-laws ever hear this, but soccer is a pretty cool sport.
I wonder if Adam's watching, my brother.
He better not be. He better not be. But no, I do watch American football though. I watch American football every single season. I'm actually a Green Bay Packers fan.
Yes.
I wonder if Julie's still watching.
Oh yeah, Julie, he's got his Packers hat on.
But,
all right, let's see. Oh, Lazy says it sounds like something Josh would do to me. Love it. It does. It's totally, from what I know about Josh, yes.
I love soccer. The World Cup was good. All right on.
Yes. Tiffany, you were in Germany when the World Cup was going on. That is amazing. I love this Q&A video. Thanks, Aaron. Took me this long to figure out how to try on YouTube. Enjoy your podcast. Aw, thanks.
If you figure it out, yeah, I would like to know because I see live
forever.
Stuff all the time. You'll have to teach me.
Yeah, it took me forever to figure it out.
Like
I think it's a little bit easier on Instagram and Facebook,
Probably,
but
yeah.
it is hard. I think if anyone's having trouble, if I recall, I think you hit, and maybe you guys can help us out, the description box, I think, and then it comes up in there. Don't quote me though, but no Steph says.
Come on, Steph.
Funnily
Come on.
enough, Steph's married to a Packers fan.
And she's living in
in Wisconsin,
in enemy territory. Yeah.
But she's originally from this area. I'm indifferent. No. I'm indifferent, but that's so funny. No, I love that.
How was that Super Bowl? Oh wait, the Lions have never been to the Super Bowl.
Burn. Okay. What else do we have?
Let's see here. I'm planning to get a drop spindle. There seems to be a few different styles. Any opinions on one over the other? Leaning towards the top whirl.
Okay.
This is your bag.
This is me. I have only used a top whirl drop spindle. Ethan actually made it for me. When I got into the rabbit hole of drops of spinning yarn in general, I believe this came out of one of those like late nights on Pinterest. Sarah.
She goes, yeah, go pack
Go
up.
back up. Awesome. Oh, Lacey, this is your question. Awesome.
Right on.
So yes, I have only used a top whirl, and I really, really enjoyed it a lot. I did the park and draft method, and that worked really, really well for me. I did drop spindling for I think about almost a year, and then I went to the spinning wheel. And honestly, I haven't used the drop spindle since. I know a lot of people do. Will do both, but I have solely pretty much gone onto the wheel. But I really, really enjoyed it. There's definitely a learning curve to it, but just keep practicing. And yeah, I'd give the top whirl a try. I know there's also a difference in the way it's weighted as far as what types of yarn you can spin, but that is not my area of expertise. So check out Abby Frankomont. I have no idea how to spell that, but she is on. You'll find her on the internet on YouTube. She's got a lot of videos about drop spindling.
We have to go to a Gaelic Storm concert. I'll bet
That
it
does
is
sound
a blast.
fun. Oh yeah.
We are going to, actually, we got another question on here that was, how did we come up with the name Tiny Dancer?
Oh yeah.
That's actually a pretty good segue into the statement.
Yes.
Because, how did we come up with that name, hon?
Okay, because it's an Elton John song, and because we're going to see Elton John in October with my brother and my sister-in-law, and I am so excited. If you have watched the podcast before, you know how geeked I am, and I cannot wait. So yes, the Tiny Dancer colorway
Hi, Lindsay.
is from Elton John. Hi, Lindsay. Ann Arbor knitter, heck yeah, we were just down there.
We were.
and-
Your guys' traffic's crazy. Oh my gosh.
It's crazy.
How do they plan that city out? They're just like, we want to get from here to here. Let's just
See,
go straight through.
I think that's college town because I remember
Yeah.
East
Oh my
Lansing kind of
gosh.
being like that, but I feel like Ann Arbor was a little more crazy.
Okay, my gut says Ethan's the Ravenclaw, but the green is giving
Oh
Slytherin vibes.
yeah, we have to
Oh, we
talk
still
about
have to-
your.
okay. Yes, to go pack, go right on, Julie. I knew I would have some support.
Okay,
around
so
here.
should we reveal your house,
Yes,
your Harry Potter house?
I am a Gryffindor through
Gryffindor.
and through.
Yes, he is. Oh, and
I'm.
because of that, I am knitting him some Gryffindor socks, which I have right here.
Although what's really funny is I probably wouldn't
My
have
little-
been. Those are awesome too.
So yeah, I'm knitting him these for his. I have a Hufflepuff skein and I have this Gryffindor skein because I wanted to make us matching Harry Potter socks. This is from Mint Rain Hand Dyed Yarns, our buddy
Definitely.
Caitlin, who's also here in Midland.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, make sure you guys check her out. She's got some awesome stuff. But
Darn, totally wrong.
no, yeah,
That's
no, you would
okay.
think with like the scholastic stuff because I'm
Yes.
super into studies and like I'm always like really like anal about making sure my like if I study anything like I've got to have a data set and make sure
Yes.
everything the
He is.
causation
You are
doesn't
really
explode.
good at like anything academic.
But
That
I'm
is
also
like,
really outspoken too, and I think that's what got me. If you'd have asked me probably 10 years ago, it would have been Ravenclaw.
yeah,
Almost certainly. But
totally.
but after I went through school to be a personal trainer, they force you to be really outgoing. Like you have to be.
Yeah.
You have to take group fitness classes. So you got to talk to between 20 and 30 people at a time and teach them how to exercise. And then you have to give lectures. And some of the lectures I've given have been to as many as 40, 50 people in a room.
Yeah.
And you have to get really, really comfortable for that. I had an hour-long lecture to do, and it's like several of them,
Yeah.
actually. So, yeah, it kind of beat the
Like fearlessness.
introvert
Yeah.
out of me,
Totally.
for sure. Putting kids to bed so I can actually hear. Before you rinse out the yarn, you want to make sure that it cools gradually, and you don't want to like take it right out of that dye bath and then stick it under the water.
Yeah.
What I do personally is if I'm dyeing the non-superwash in an actual pot, I'll lift the actual skein out of the pot with tongs, dump out the water, put the skein back into the pot, and let it cool.
That's a really good idea.
Because if
I
you
did not even know you did that.
Well,
That's
water
a really
holds
smart
heat.
idea.
water holds
Yeah.
heat, and water holds heat even better than antifreeze and coolant, believe it or not. That's what, like the only reason you put antifreeze in a car is because it doesn't freeze.
Yeah.
But actually, like a lot of race cars, they actually have.
Well, because I
water
remember
in them.
last year when you were first learning. Actually, I don't think you were dyeing yet. You were helping me with like getting the dyeing done. Like you were rinsing
Mhm.
out the yarns and stuff like that. Like that's kind of like how we got you like into it.
Yeah.
And I remember because there would be water in the pots, and you would, as you were waiting for the water to cool down, even though it was super washed, we just wanted to make sure that we were shocking the yarn. And I remember it was your idea. You're like, okay, we're gonna dump out the water so we don't have to wait so long. And then we had the yarn cool down.
Yeah, and in my experience, taking it out of the hot dye bath and putting it in an empty pan is not enough of a temperature shock to do any felting whatsoever. And it cools down so much more rapidly. If you've got a pan full of hot water that's almost boiling, it takes forever. It can take an hour, 2 hours to cool down depending on the ambient temperature. So if you can do that, it'll cool down to lukewarm. You can rinse the yarn out and put it into its bath. The other thing you don't want to do is handle it too much. Some people get a little bit too scared to actually handle the yarn. The last thing you want to do is not rinse it out properly. Right. But mainly what you want to do is avoid things that cause a lot of friction on the yarn.
No agitation.
So if you hold it up to wring it out rather than actually like run your hand down the yarn, just squeeze gently, or fold up the skein and then very gently squeeze. No wringing, no sliding, anything like that. And,
definitely.
Those are going to be the two biggest things that you can do to prevent felting. Yeah. No temperature shocking, and no physical manipulation of the yarn beyond what you absolutely have to do. Yeah. Sorry.
Let's see here. Would you say spinning was more relaxing, or is knitting? It seems meditative. Oh my god.
Well, spinning puts me right out as long as she's doing it.
I love spinning. I think spinning is way more meditative than knitting. Although knitting will calm me down if like I'm very anxious about something, but spinning like takes the cake in that. Totally. Once you get past the learning curve. There's a lot of swearing for me in the beginning when I was first learning how to spin.
Yeah, she swears like a sailor.
Not that bad.
Every day.
No way. Let's see. Are you guys
planning to move?
Let's see, to your own website. We were actually just we were discussing, because actually Kayleen's on here. We were watching her video. So, we're not quite sure yet. Probably in the future, yes.
At some point, it pays you absolutely to make your own website. If you have a big enough audience that you don't need Etsy's marketing tools, or if you have the time and the expertise to put into marketing and advertising, then it absolutely doesn't pay you to go with Etsy. Etsy affords a lot of sellers a lot of tools for actually a really, really low percentage. Some of you guys have probably heard Etsy increased its fees from 3.5 to 5%, which is like what, 43%, something like that, off the 43% increase. A lot of people are really, really upset about it. As far as I'm concerned, I read what their plan is with it. They're planning to invest a ton of money into marketing. They're planning to do a ton of money into advertising. There's going to be some TV commercials or something like that. Now, if they place the money where they want to place it, I'm fine with the fee increase, because that's where I would put the fee increase if I could. If we had to say, hey, let's take another 1.5% of sales and put it to marketing or advertising, I would absolutely do that.
Right, and I just can't remember if like you only get those benefits if you do the like monthly payment.
No,
okay,
no. From the sound of it,
remember.
You do get it. They're introducing some new subscription stuff, I guess. But all of the basic services remain the same. We charge free shipping anyway, so it doesn't really the shipping charge that they add to it. The fee increase on the shipping charge doesn't really affect us because we eat shipping anyway. So it's not charged to the buyer. So the Etsy fees, from the sounds of it, the Etsy fees are not going to be assessed on the increased shipping for us, simply because we eat the shipping cost to you guys anyway. But eventually, we will be going to our own website just for the creative control.
Yeah,
more than anything.
You can have it set up the way you want it. Yeah, I definitely think we'll probably do that. We're just not quite sure when that will be, but probably not for a little bit. Let's see here. What's the next project on your queues? Ooh, you first.
Definitely my hat. I am so pumped. So pumped.
And that's gonna knit up. So you're gonna be so stoked when you see what it's like to knit with worsted over fingering weight yarn on your sock. Mine, I've got some Christmas knitting I want to do. I guess I can probably talk about, I don't think my nieces are watching, I doubt it. But probably some like little headbands for my nieces for Christmas. I think I'm gonna do that.
That'd be cool.
Let's see.
Sarah says my husband played the bagpipes. Also, he wants to know what's Ethan's favorite bagpipe song.
Oh, cool! That's
Man.
awesome.
There is I forget what the composer is, but it's the Gale.
Oh yes.
It was the theme song of The Last of the Mohicans, but the original title was The Gale, and I'm trying to remember who it was that composed it.
That was really cool.
But we used to do like a 10-part harmony on that song.
It was
ridiculous.
Cool.
And
that always gave me goosebumps. It was really
and it would
good.
start out with a lone piper. And that was always like I always had that part.
Yep.
And you would start out with a lone piper, and then once the rest of the band came in, you would have drums come in immediately, and you'd have like the bass drum and tenor drums, and they'd just be wailing on these things.
Wasn't it done in like a canon too?
Dug and clean, absolutely, right on.
Yeah, that's
Totally.
awesome.
Right on.
That's so cool. My favorite was Itchy Fingers.
Itchy Fingers. I used to have, we used to do competitions.
That's actually, yes, you and Stuart would duel you would bagpipe duel. It was so cool. And I remember when I was learning, that was like motivating for me to get better, was you guys dueling. Like, because they would see as fast as they could go. And it was so cool. I love that.
It was a lot of fun. Patty's Leather Breeches was another one. I always enjoyed Patty's Leather Breeches.
What is your beverage of choice, coffee or tea? I know what yours
Beer.
is. Beer. That's not what I was gonna say.
Coffee.
Yeah, I was like, yours is coffee. As dark as it can be. So, oh gosh, I love both. I need my coffee in the morning. Like, I have to have it, and I have it with Cinnabon coffee creamer every morning. My favorite is Folgers vanilla with Cinnabon coffee creamer. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. And then I love tea as well. So I love herbal teas because I don't do well with a lot of caffeine. So Sarah says, get a website. That would be awesome. And which group sponsors your pipe band?
Actually, when we were going, who did we? We did have, it seems to me we did have a couple of sponsors. We were a nonprofit organization. And we're no longer a part of it. The entire organization, my dad got to a point in his life where he was just like, I got other things I want to focus on. Handed the torch off, and then they ended up fusing with another pipe band that was in the area. Most of the members just said, hey, why have two organizations when we can have one massive organization that is accomplishing the same goal in the same vicinity? Midland's a town of like 43,000 people, so I mean, it's not a tiny city, but it's not a huge city either, so they merged. We had a lot of local sponsors, and we got a lot of grants from the city. The Midland Community Foundation, I believe, gave us some grants and things like that.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Do you have kids? No, but we have fur kids. We have 2 dogs. We have a yellow lab, Benny, and then we have a black lab hound mix, but she looks like a black lab with a hound body. That's Ella, and they're both going to be 7 this year. So Julie says you could definitely make the transition to your own website when you're ready.
Oh,
yes,
thank you,
thanks, Julie. I think that's definitely
we're looking forward to it for sure.
Ooh, hi from Canada, from Quebec, Canada. You two are awesome. Oh,
thank you.
So cool. Okay.
My great grandfather was from Quebec. Actually.
Yep.
Papaya.
Yeah, I'm reading about that. That's so cool. Let's see.
What else do we have here? We got a lot of questions. Like, there's no way if we don't get to your question, it'll be in a future podcast. But,
yeah, we're gonna speed type them all out.
We literally have 200 some questions. So
yeah, so thank you guys for asking them.
I thought this was a cool question. If we could make our wishes and dreams come true, what would they look like? So if we could make our wishes and dreams come true, what would they look like? How about you?
Oh gosh, I have no idea. I don't know. This is what
would the world look like?
The world look like. Well, okay, so I'm a very non-confrontational person, so I would say everybody just loves everybody. But I know that that's not the way it's going to be. But that would be to me like just no upsettingness, no like misunderstandings, just. But then I guess that would probably be like a little bit of a boring world. But I don't know. I mean, I know that's how we grow too, as people, that when you work through like confrontations and things like that. But that would be my perfect world.
Definitely.
I just want to make a cake full of rainbows and smiles and sit on me girls. And he goes, she doesn't even go here.
I think.
I promise, I just have tea.
Well, all my wishes and dreams have come true. I'm married to the most amazing woman ever. Absolutely.
So sweet.
If we're talking about stuff that would be solely for me, I would love to live someplace where we still had internet access so we could hang out with you guys, but I would love to be in the wilderness somewhere, just kind of
like
far away from
cabin.
civilization. I think just being able to go out hunting, fishing all the time.
Yep.
That would be amazing for me. You know, obviously it'd be fantastic if we had less conflict, if everybody got along.
Yeah.
If we could erase that part of human nature, that would be pretty cool. I mean, that'd be amazing. So.
Yeah. All right. I love the Ella stories. We have two Labrador crazy dogs.
You want Ella stories? We got Ella stories.
Every day with that dog is a new story. We have actually on my Facebook, I have a dog shaming photo album of her because she used to. Well, she still gets into trouble all the time, but I would like take those after she did something naughty. I'd like write it on a piece of paper, and then because she has the like saddest eyes, and then I just take her picture and shame her for it. Oh, the glow in the dark yarn. Yeah, so it's
actually glow under black light.
Yep. So it doesn't necessarily glow in the dark, but if you have like a black light,
it'll glow, but you just have to put the black light on it. Like it's not a what do they call that? The glow in the dark stuff. Glow in the dark. It's reactive to the light, and you hold it under the light, and then you turn the light off, and it glows under its own power. This one is if you put the black light on it.
Right. Yeah.
Glow. So it's pretty groovy.
Yeah, it is very groovy.
Did you guys ever host a meetup in Midland, like a small mom and pop shop?
That'd be fun.
That would be fun. We don't actually have any like shops in Midland.
No, there's no yarn shops, but at the Live Oak Coffee House, there is like a creative room that they have there where people get together, and I think they can like either rent out the room and things like that. And that would be a really cool place to do it. I think there's also Panera. You know, one or the other. Let's see. Lord Ethan, you need to hang out with Josh sometime. The hunting talk would be endless.
It would be. I'll talk with anybody about hunting.
I'm pretty sure Josh and I are related too because his last name is my maiden name. So
really,
I'm pretty sure it's
seriously.
Yeah, Lacey was telling me we went out for coffee one time. It was really trippy.
Huh?
Yeah, that was crazy. So yeah, was there anything else on there? Okay, no. Oh, we had a question about de-shedding. So,
de-shedding.
There was a lady who had a husky, and yes, that is a process. So the best way to do it, for me, that I found out, is that as a dog groomer, I do a de-shedding bath, which is Furminator shampoo. It's the brand Furminator. So I wash my dog twice in the Furminator shampoo, and then I will wash her in the conditioner. And the conditioner is the trick. The conditioner like pulls out all that coat, that extra coat that they're shedding, and if you do it at home, you'll back up the tub. Like you get a ton of fur out that way. And then the best way after that is going to be blow drying them. And I know a lot of people aren't going to have like a cattle blow dryer at their house.
Just use a leaf blower.
Yeah, really, that'll do it too. But when you blow dry them after you condition them, like it just poofs out all that extra hair. And then after they're dry, you can brush them out for probably a half hour or so, and you'll get out a ton of hair that way. Otherwise, if you're not doing any of that, you're going to be brushing for ages, and it's going to be hard on their skin. But if you don't have any of those things, it looks like our battery died on our other one.
You guys are getting exclusive access now.
Yes.
The battery died.
But then just weekly brushing is going to really, really help getting that under control. If and even doing the bath, if you don't have the dryer. But yeah, weekly brushing is definitely going to help with that. The Furminator brush is amazing. It doesn't work for all breeds, but like labs, it'll work for a husky, things like that. And it's really good. If anyone has like pits or pit mixes, like a rubber curry brush, they shed a lot still, but a rubber curry brush is going to be really good for them. So Let's see.
My dog hates having her nails trimmed, and I'm always worried I'm going to make her bleed.
Yes.
Any tips for me?
Yes. So yes, trimming nails is definitely hard to learn. It took me a long time to learn when I started working as a groomer, and I'd say my best tip is start with taking off a little bit. Also, watch some YouTube videos if you've never done it, just to get an idea of what you're working with, and then take off a little bit at a time. And then if you can get your dog used to like a nail grinder, like a Dremel tool, then you can slowly like grind down to the quick that little vein that's in their nail.
With the sanding attachment.
Yes, yeah, with the sanding attachment. Yes, thanks. And that's it. Some dogs like that, some dogs don't. Like my dog Ella prefers the nail grinder versus the clipping because the clipping it kind of pinches, so she'd rather have the grinder. So it just depends on your dog. But otherwise, if you're really having a hard time, you can always take them to the vet or a groomer, and they can do a lot of groomers will do like walk-in nail trims. So yeah.
We got some comments.
Ooh. Yeah, we never did look into that. I bet I am related to her boyfriend, I'm sure. Oh, I see blue tick coonhound. Those are my favorite. Okay, my son has a blue tick coonhound. That's where Ella's hound brain comes from.
It totally does.
She sounds just like Ash. Oh my gosh.
We had beagles as kids, and they're the same way. The hounds are just so bullheaded.
And it's so funny.
She gives me this look.
So funny.
Ella, we call her Gert because she looks like a black goat.
Yeah.
But she'll do this thing, and it's infuriating. She'll sit there out in the pen, and you'll call her in the house, and you'll go, Gert, come on, get inside. And she'll sit there, and she'll go, and you'll go, Gert, come on. And
then you say now.
Yeah, and then you go now, and it's like something funny. It's like something like jump starts her brain.
It seriously looks like she just got jump started. She goes,
yeah, and it feels like the black lab and the hound are always fighting.
Oh yes.
Yeah, sometimes she'll be super affectionate, super lovey.
And then other times she'll kind of just want to do her own thing and be very independent and not want nothing to do with you. Aw, Julie says we make the perfect couple. So happy you're both and happy to know you both. Thanks, Julie. Too. That's so sweet.
Yeah.
That's so sweet. I really am enjoying this. This is
really
fun.
A lot of fun. Oh, we should answer some questions about Michigan.
Oh yeah.
Where's your favorite place to? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love tacos. Oh, tacos are the best.
My old coworker Paige always made fun of my Michigan accent because it comes out a lot.
Yeah.
And so we always have this running joke that Michiganders are like, they're trying to get past someone and they're probably like, oh.
Yeah, they do too.
And my love of casseroles. I love a good casserole.
Oh man, I made this casserole. We had it last night. It's horrible. I am the worst personal trainer in the world. But it's really like good. Hash browns and Rally's fries. Some of you guys don't have Rally's in your area. You probably have Checkers. Same thing.
It's seasoned French fries.
Seasoned French fries, hash browns like the shredded kind, and then you put cream cheese over top of that, and then you put macaroni and cheese over top of that, and then you shred a bunch of Mexican cheese over that, and then you weave bacon on top of that. This is just
weave wrong. The bacon in there.
And then you put more fries and more cheese, and then you bake it at 450, and then you put sour cream on top of it.
It will make you sick, but it's so worth it. It's so good.
It's so good.
It's amazing. Just gotta drop an O.
Totally.
I love it.
Favorite place to go in Michigan?
Oh gosh, I think I really love Mackinac Island. Carb overload.
It's
yes.
So carb overload.
Yes, it is. I love Mackinac Island. I've only been there I think 3 times, and I love it. It's very tourist related.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely has the tourist in mind, but it's so beautiful, and I love it. I also really love Frankenmuth, which is also very like tourist minded. But
I think for me, it's a toss up between Glen Arbor, which is where Sleeping Bear Dunes kind of is. That area is like the Crystal River. The whole area is some of the prettiest you'll ever see at like anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Or to Quamanon Falls.
Oh yeah.
Or there's so many.
Yeah.
But probably my favorite,
Taquaman Falls is beautiful.
probably my favorite are either Taquaman Falls or the Glen Arbor area.
Stuff says if weaving bacon is wrong, I don't want to be right.
That's right. That's right. That's the attitude to have. I like that. Sleeping bear is wonderful. No, you do weave the bacon. Like that's necessary because otherwise it all pulls out when you cut it with a knife. And the eating experience, for some reason, is really important when you make a casserole with bacon and mac and cheese and cream cheese and seasoned fries. But it does. It really is kind of important. Yeah.
That got me stuff.
Where would our dream vacation be?
Ooh, probably Alaska.
Probably Alaska.
We were talking about wanting to go there.
Probably Alaska. I want to see some grizzly bears.
Yeah, that would be.
And brown bears.
I want to see them from the inside of the
And the glaciers. I want to see the glaciers. I think that would be pretty rad. Where's a must see in Michigan? Man, there's a ton. Pictured rocks. People usually think pictured rocks is pretty awesome.
I need to go. We need to go.
There's a freshwater spring up in the UP called Kitchity-Keepy. It's amazing.
I've never been there either.
You can take we'll go this summer.
Yeah.
We'll go tomorrow.
Only one more day off before I gotta go back to work, but we're gonna go.
It's free, or it was, but you actually take a glass bottom boat out to the middle of the spring, and it's deep, like really, really deep, and you can see lake trout and brown trout and stuff like swimming around in there. I actually drank from it. It was delicious.
That's so cool. That'd be awesome. Yeah, we'll have to go.
When are we going camping? We promised to take them with us. Yes.
We are going.
Yes.
It's happening. We haven't.
Probably next month.
Yeah. Yeah, probably next month. We'll definitely vlog it.
We're looking at SUVs right now, or pickup trucks. We just had to get rid of my pickup truck.
Yeah.
Which was sad, but it was nickel and diming us to death.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're looking at
SUVs.
98. And yeah,
it was 98. Time to go.
We had another one. Why would you want to use a handgun to hunt deer? I do understand why you would want one for bear protection up close, but I have been led to believe that rifles are more accurate for hunting. Is the attraction the added challenge similar to bow hunting? Laws are different here, so I don't personally know anyone who hunts with handguns. It's a really good question, actually. So, yes, generally, rifles are more accurate in certain instances. When you're talking about really long distance, absolutely they're more accurate and more powerful in a lot of respects. But when you're talking about distances under 200 yards, oh, your alarm's going off. When you're talking about distances under 200 yards, and really under 150 yards, a large Magnum caliber handgun actually can sometimes have the edge over a rifle like a 30-06 or 270 or a 30-30. Those are generally like your classic hunting rifles. That's what a lot of people use. What those rifles do is they shoot a bullet very, very fast, but it's a very, very light bullet. And that bullet can be deflected very, very easily by vegetation, small twigs, small sticks. I've actually missed deer entirely because of a little twig that I didn't see. Almost all of my shots that I take are under 100 yards, and the reason for that is I hunt in the swamp. The area that we live in, kind of the Saginaw Valley area, is very low-lying, and most of in mid to upper Michigan, a lot of it's very dense, and so most of our shots, if you're hunting public land and not a farm, are very, very short shots, and so but it's through very, very dense cover, and so in order to get like a clear shot, those clear shots are short distances, and so a heavier bullet with a handier gun, like my 44 Magnum, it's a pretty substantial pistol, but it's very packable. I can put it into a backpack and head out there to my hunting blind, and so it's a very compact setup, and so it's a lot easier to tote around than a rifle. And I hunted with a 270 for years. And I've taken deer with that as well, but I'm really looking forward to being able to use that nice, slow, heavy bullet.
Yeah.
It should perform very, very well.
I started giggling because Julie popped up and said, "Are you sure you aren't from Wisconsin with all that cheese and bacon?"
Oh my God, I know. It is not that far.
Nope.
Well, we actually, this area, it's funny you mentioned that because in this area, a lot of people sound like they're from Wisconsin, and we have Pinconning that's really close, and the cheese industry in Pinconning is huge. That's where Pinconning cheese comes from,
So
as far as I
good.
know. But yeah, there's
So
like
good.
cheese shops every 5 miles.
Yeah.
It seems like
Oh,
it's crazy.
so good.
But yeah, definitely.
Lacey says, have you looked into getting some black tags so you can do summer hunting? Josh just got one a few days ago. Do you process your own venison?
So black tags. I'm unsure what you mean by that. But as far as if there's an opportunity to take some summer deer, that would be awesome, because yes, we do process our own venison. Literally from the time that the deer drops on the ground to the time that it's in the freezer, I have handed everything.
Yeah.
Literally everything. I don't take any of my meat to a butcher.
I'm still learning. I'm a little squeamish, so.
Yeah, but yeah, I take I don't take any of my meat to the butcher. I process everything. I make my own I make my own jerky. I make everything. So.
All right. Let's see here.
Oh, right on. I hunt with the 270. 270.
Awesome.
The 270 Winchester is one of the best rounds ever made. It absolutely is, and one of the most accurate. I took a doe a couple of years ago at 200 yards, and I had virtually zero drop. I hand load as well, so I'm really looking forward to getting into hand loading for the 270 as well, because it's such fun. Light recoil, super effective, especially out at long ranges.
That's cool. What about a 9mm Ruger?
A 9mm Ruger. So 9mm is generally considered to be a little bit undergunned for deer. A lot of states won't even let you hunt with a 9mm. Really, as far as firearms are concerned, if you place the shot right, pretty much anything will get the job done. But what you look at is the distance that you're going to be. I mean, there was a guy that was successfully able to defend himself from, it was either a grizzly bear or brown bear with a 9mm. And so it really depends on whether your state game and fish agencies allow you to. If you're looking for a semi-automatic handgun, your best bet would be to step up to a 10mm or even a 357 SIG. You could get away with that. 50 AE. But yeah.
That's cool. KB Fiber says got 2 bucks last year, 7 and 8 points.
Congratulations.
Awesome.
Right on. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, our hunting regulations are changing here in Michigan. We've had a lot of chronic wasting disease, and so they're changing the regulations on how much you can take. I know they're issuing more permits down south.
Oh, here we go.
Farmers get tags from the DNR to bag feed during the season. Sometimes if you know anyone or call them, they might have excess that need to be filled with it. Oh, right on.
Oh, cool. Josh's uncle usually gives us a few. Josh takes it down to quarters, and I process the rest myself most of the time too. That's awesome, Lacey.
That's
more props
awesome.
to you,
Right
because
on.
I'm working on it. I'm not there yet.
Yeah, had to have them checked. Yeah, KB Fibers, definitely. Yeah, it's they're definitely spreading. We're waiting to hear on the new regulations, because there was a huge study being done, and I guess the results are being posted at the beginning of next month, from what I understand. Chronic wasting disease can be, for those of you that don't know, it's a disease the deer get, and it's spread very easily, and it can absolutely decimate deer populations. So
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
yeah. So yeah, down south definitely they're having an issue with that. Does hunting and fishing provide your protein for the year? Yes, it absolutely does. We prefer to use as much game meat as possible in our diets. The reason I like game meat is I literally know exactly what the deer's been feeding on, because I've watched them do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's about as fair chase as you can get.
Venison jerky.
Yeah, I always feel good about it, you know. Oh, my hobby hunts with a Mini 14. Right on. Yeah.
That's cool.
Right on.
Let's see. Where was our first date?
Where was our first date? Okay, do you want to count our real first date, or
I think the first official one, because we have like an
the
unofficial
one where you
one.
bought you a new car, or
Yeah.
or the one where we took the dogs to the dog park?
Let's tell them both. Okay, so the first one, we it was right before my birthday, and we went to I was coming up to the Midland area. I was living in Lansing at the time, and I was coming up to Midland because I'm originally from the Saginaw area, and I was coming up to hang out with my cousin who's my age, and then I texted him. I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be up here. You want to hang out?" So, because yeah, we had started talking more and more then. So we were pretty sure that the other liked the other one, but once again, we were kind of, I think, going back into our not sure if the other liked the other one. So we came up here to hang out, and I brought Ella, and we went, and he brought Benny, because Benny was just a little babe then too, and we went to the dog park and hung out, and yeah, so that was kind of like our official or unofficial date. We didn't know it was a date.
We weren't together at that point.
We had just been talking and wanted to hang out.
First official date, man, it's kind of tough.
I think it was on my birthday.
Well, yeah, but
it wasn't very date-like.
Actually, we didn't decide that we were a couple until like later in the day.
Yeah. But it ended up being, you would say though, that would be the first date, I think. You were so sick. You were so
Oh my gosh, I was so sick. I drove down to Lansing, and I was
because it was my birthday.
Yep.
And he came down to see me. He was so sick. We went to Denny's because on your birthday, you go to Denny's and you get a free breakfast. And so I think you had chicken soup.
I did have chicken. I had chicken noodle
at like
soup.
10 in the morning.
I had chicken noodle soup, and there's like little Sudafed floating in the bottom. I was just like,
so sad. And then we went and hung out around Lansing. And then I had been in the market for a car. And because at the time he had been doing mechanics, we were going to school for mechanics. Mm-hmm. And so I had been messaging him about, I think I'll pick you out a car. And so then
any questions about cars, I got those covered.
Yeah. So he had come down to visit for my birthday, and we decided on a whim, let's go look at cars. And then I bought a car on my birthday.
Fetch.
Okay, let's see here. Yeah, we're gonna just go ahead and take care of this guy. Okay.
And here I was thinking that was Mean Girls.
You were thinking it was a Mean Girls reference.
All right.
It was a good thought though, because I love Mean Girls.
What else do we have here? How long have we been married?
5 years.
5 years.
Yep, this last May.
Definitely.
It's always confusing to remember, okay, how long have we been together? Married 5 years, known each other for like 15 years.
Right, we got together on your birthday, and then we got married on May 3rd. And so
my birthday's on May 29th. So we had not even been together official for the full year then. So that's always when it's kind of confusing to remember. Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. How do we handle the times when we may not be on the same page as each other for the business? We don't actually have those a whole lot.
Not really.
We're on the same page pretty frequently. Generally, what ends up happening is if we're not on the same page, it's because we both have a different idea of how to best achieve the same goal. That's where we never are not on the same page as to the direction we want to go. So that avoids a lot of big issues, I think, that a lot of other people would have. Mm-hmm. We're always got the same goal in mind. And so she's much more knowledgeable about the knitting community and the podcasting community and the dyeing community and the spinning community, just everything in general, because she handles a lot of the social media stuff. And our main goal is to make this successful. I mean, we totally enjoy hanging out with you guys.
It's so much fun.
Like this has been a blast so far for us.
Yes.
And so basically, I just generally defer to her. So if she's saying like, no, I think this is the best way to do this, and I've suggested something else, I trust her, and it's worked great.
And what I think is cool though too is like you take a really good spin. Like if we've got like colorway ideas, I might take it one direction and he might take it the other direction, but I usually like the direction that you take it better. So because you do really well with
I don't know about that.
I really do, because you do a good job of not like going crazy with all of the colors like I do. And I think I want to, whenever I do some more dyeing again, I just kind of want to do like some one of a kinds where I just like play with all the colors and then kind of get that creative thing out of my system, like just have fun with that.
how long have we been together? 6 years. We said the engagement story. Were we both into camping and kayaking when we met?
No.
I was. I didn't have a kayak at that point in time, but I did love.
Yeah,
kayaking.
I had only gone kayaking one other time when I was very young, and I did not have a good time with it because I was really young, and I kind of like the first time we went kayaking together, and I kept spinning around in circles. It was like that when I was really little. And then as far as camping, my family didn't do a lot of camping growing up, so I didn't really have the times I did go camping. It was like in friends' backyards, and I have a lot of allergies, which we didn't know until I was older. So I was very miserable every time I went camping, like very miserable. However, Steph, if you're still watching, I don't know if you are or not, but my best friend had this reunion that her family would do every year, and I would go with them, and they would camp out, and that I loved. I loved going to Lake of Dreams. It was like this weird bright color blue that was not natural, and it was so, I loved going to that. And I went to like summer camp a couple of times, band camp.
Wait. Like the blue and the porta johns?
Yeah, yes, it was like that color. Yes, I'm not even kidding.
And now you know.
Yeah, that's what it was. Probably should not have been swimming. But yeah, and then we started going camping a lot more. Once we got together, his family went camping a lot, and I really, really loved going. I love it.
It's a ton of fun.
I always loved when we would go like camp at the reenactments and stuff. I always loved that, so I'm not surprised that I.
The only thing I've done is adjust the way that I camp since we got together, because I used to, when you, trying to think of a good way to put this.
Yeah, I'm curious, where are you going with this? I'm really curious about this.
When you, man, you got me back into a
hot spot, hot spot is what I said.
The hot spot.
Hot seat.
Okay. When you have the delicacy and the sensibilities of someone that
I'm just gonna sit here and wait for this.
Of somebody that isn't used to camping around a bunch of bros that eat cold beans around the campfire.
I can eat cold beans.
I'm not saying you can't.
What
I'm saying is I try and make it an enjoyable experience
thank you.
For me, camping is so camping for me is kind of utilitarian.
Just say it's a lot less rustic now. You do it.
It's a lot. Hey, there you go. Okay, that's what I was trying to say.
We did go rustic camping though last time.
We actually do go rustic. We don't stay in modern campgrounds because that's kind of where I draw the line. I'm like, man, I don't want to be able to shower in a hot shower. I don't want my shower to be hot when I'm camping.
Oh, that's so funny.
We do camp rustic. But
lazy, you're killing me.
But now we camp with cots, and which you camp on the floor of the tent for years. I will give you that.
I have, and I'm just fine with it too. I really don't mind sleeping on the ground.
Right. But a lot of my camping was I like it very, very.
I feel like I could get used to cot camping though.
It's so nice.
I feel like I could like.
I'm not gonna lie. I like it. I've adjusted well. I mean, it's been really, really nice. But and now we've got this new tent. Yeah. And this new tent is just thebomb.com.
Yeah, I can't wait to use it.
It's a canvas tent, 10 by 10, and there is so much room in it, and it's all waterproof and it's breathable. I'm pumped.
Yeah.
Absolutely pumped. What's your favorite movie on?
Oh, Hercules. Okay, that's my favorite Disney movie. You gotta have like levels. So favorite Disney movie is Hercules. That always makes me happy if I'm sad. Or if I'm not sad. Like I just love it. Love that movie. Oh gosh, then after that, I don't know, I can't pick. So I guess I'll just have to go with Hercules. I love musicals. Musicals in general, like I love musicals. Yeah. I love Beauty and the Beast. I love the new one and the Disney, and the cartoon one. I love that.
Totally.
Okay, what's your favorite movie?
All time, if I had to pick one, probably Tombstone with Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer. It's an old Western movie about like Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday, and it's got Sam Elliott in it. I mean, it's just a phenomenal movie. I like some of the old westerns, but some of them I just don't.
I know mine. Wayne's World.
Wayne's World. Okay,
I
yeah,
love
there's
Wayne's
that.
World.
Wayne's World probably is
Yeah. Somebody call IXII. Yes. Oh, stuff.
I'm your Huckleberry, absolutely, Stacy. Doc Holliday.
Oh yeah, we'll be announcing the winner of the giveaway here on Instagram. We'll be announcing it on Instagram. So we will be tagging the winner on Instagram. So yes, thank you for mentioning that. Yes, there will be a post on Instagram.
What else have we got? We ended up just kind of like randomly picking these things now, so we should have probably gone in order so that we know which ones we've answered. But now we're best and worst thing about living in Michigan. Ooh. Oh man, best thing, the nature here, like the terrain is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You can go from Detroit, let's say Grand Rapids. You can go from Grand Rapids and have really big city atmosphere and have all the shopping you want. They're at least skyscrapers to me. Are the bugs big there? No, but they bite really bad. But you can go from you can go to really, really, really dense cities and high populations and shopping and all the industry that you could ever imagine to within a couple of hours driving and not seeing any signs of civilization at all. If you go up to the UP, the UP, which stands for the Upper Peninsula, if you go up to the UP, you can drive for literally for hours, and not see anything.
Ghost towns out there. It's really cool.
Yeah, there are ghost towns, but you can go through and not even see any hint. You almost feel like if you weren't on a road, that you were the first person to ever see what you're seeing. It's really crazy. And so we've got insane fishing. We've got the Great Lakes, which are like their own mini little oceans. So those are the best things.
Yeah, and I feel like it covers, for people who are really outdoorsy and also for people who are not.
Yeah, exactly. And you've got Detroit too, and there's a lot of awesome stuff in Detroit.
Especially outer area.
Yep. There's the Detroit Institute of Arts, the Detroit Zoo, a lot of people like that.
Greenfield Village, Henry Ford Museum.
Yep. The Detroit Auto Show, the Detroit International Auto Show is every single year in January.
Ooh, that'd be fun to go to. We go to one in our town that we really like, the Northwood Auto Show.
Did you know that's the largest outdoor auto show in the nation?
It's really fun.
The Florida of the Midwest, love it.
The pies, yes.
Oh, the pies. But yeah, there are some really, really, really cool. There are some really, really cool things about it. The downsides of Michigan is generally, I would say, probably the job market.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
depending where you're at.
Yeah, depending on where you're at, and what you want to do. But in a lot of industries, it is a lot more lucrative to go out of state.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, if you are into any kind of a new and developing field, you're not going to find it in Michigan because we've only got a few really large cities. We've got Lansing, Ann Arbor's kind of large.
The whole Detroit area.
Detroit and Grand Rapids. But other than that, there aren't a whole lot of big cities.
Julie says I love that you like Disney movies.
But by far the worst thing about Michigan, the absolute worst thing about Michigan is the roads. Our roads are terrible. They are horrendous.
Yeah.
I replace shocks and struts on our cars all the time.
You also never know what the weather's going to do because of the lakes.
Yes.
The
weather can get crazy, but I do like having 4 seasons.
Yes, that is the best. Fall's the best.
Who thought up the logo and the name?
I thought up the name.
Yep.
And he did the logo.
Yep. The logo was actually a photograph of a sheep that I had done out at the Chippewa Nature Center, which is here in Midland. It's a huge nature preserve. Just outside
really cool.
of
It's where we go kayaking a lot. If you see our pictures, like our stories and stuff.
Yeah, there's kayak launches out there and everything. But they have this homestead where there's these little, it's an old homestead, And so there's sheep there, there's chickens.
It looks like a little house on the prairie over there.
It really
So
does.
we need to do
We'll do a vlog. We'll do a
there.
vlog over there sometime.
Yeah, it's really cute.
I've actually been planning to do some like product shoots of yarn over there. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But we have this. There was the sheep there, and I was just taking some pictures. And this was before I was even really involved with.
Yeah, you were.
I wasn't even involved in.
Like I had just started.
Podcast. I think I helped you ship an order once.
Yeah.
But,
it was at the beginning of the shop starting.
But I took the picture and basically made it a stencil in Photoshop and created the logo. And we call him Sheepy Sheep, by the way.
Yes, that's his name.
Sheep.
He's also, I think you can see it in the beginning of the podcast intro. There's like a wood burned Sheepy Sheep that he had done. So that was really cool.
That turned out. I
Yeah,
didn't know whether that
really
would or
cool.
not. You know, have you guys ever done an art project, especially something that like once you hit a point, it's like you're at the point of no return, and whatever you do from that point on is either you're afraid it's going to make it look worse, but you just know something's missing. That's what that entire project was like. I was like, oh, I got the outline, it looks pretty good, but now I gotta shade it in.
Have you guys gone to Johnson's Giant Pumpkin Farm in the fall, just a little past Saga?
No, I've never even heard of Johnson's.
Yeah, I haven't either. We
We'll
need to
have
go
to
there, yeah, because we've gone to Uncle John's in is that in St. John's?
Yeah.
Is that where it's at? And then we've been to Lehman's here in Midland.
And then we went to some really, really shady one last year. And
We didn't
I won't
actually
say
go
where
there
it
though.
is. I won't say where it is, but it was this pumpkin farm. No, it was in an apple orchard or something. I don't know. Either way, we were driving along.
Yeah, it might have been like a cider mill. Yeah,
127 or something.
It was really scary. I think it was just like a small town sort of a thing. It wasn't like a big thing, but it ended up being.
I like small town things. This was the Hills Have Eyes sort of situation.
It was scary.
crazy.
We like parked there and we just turned right back around and left. We're like, nope.
Okay, let me.
But maybe
let me
they
set
weren't
the scene
open.
for
They
you.
might not have been open. I think that's what was going on.
Okay, then why did the trees grow in as we were like driving up to the place? It got darker as we got up to the place. The skies got overcast. The clouds went over. I thought I heard crows. It was creepy. I'm sorry. A shady pumpkin. It was. I was
Super shady. We didn't even get out of the car.
It was like this long driveway. It's like pumpkin farm this way, and then the signs are getting a little bit more like decrepit. The
Like they've
closer
been there
you
for
get.
years.
Yeah. And then it's just like a mysterious red stain on one. No, I'm just kidding. That didn't happen, but I felt like it must have. Anyway, so you turn off and it's like on this gravel path, and you keep going, and the driveway is impossibly long to this place. Like long enough that there will be no witnesses, that kind of long. And the trees just keep growing like thicker and thicker and thicker. And finally we pull up and there's no sign of this actual
It's getting
place.
very dramatic.
It was dramatic. I was the one driving. I was ultimately responsible for our safety. Anyway, so we get up to this like barn area, and it's just got screens everywhere, and we just see like movement kind of inside the barn. There's no clear place to park. There's nobody, and we just took off.
It was like at someone's house, I think, or something. It was really weird.
At Walmart.
It was creepy.
Yeah, it was interesting.
I'll send you the Facebook page. Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, awesome donuts. Yes, definitely a plus. Definitely. Yeah, we'll definitely have to go check that out.
Do we love cats?
I do. I like cats, but I'm very allergic. Very allergic to cats. However, your brother's cats do not bother me. My brother's cats bother me though. For some reason, I'm very allergic to his cats. But I think it just depends. But yeah, I am very allergic, but I love them. I think they're very sweet. But dogs are definitely my main thing. Like I can live without a cat. I wouldn't mind having a cat, but I don't think I can ever live without a dog.
Really?
I don't think
I
so.
don't either. I think I'm probably gonna alienate like half of our viewing base here, but no, I don't like cats. I hate cats. Actually, I kind of
do you like your
hate
brother's
cats.
cat? He's a nice.
I like, yeah, but he's basically a dog.
He is. He was raised by dogs.
My problem with cats is that I can't train them. I'll go sit and I tell I think I've sort of told this story on the podcast. Every cat I ever meet, I tell it to sit, and I'll just go, "Come on now, sit!" Like I'm feeding you. I shelter you. I feed you. I keep you alive. You can sit. You can at least sit.
My mom's cat loves you, but
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does. But he likes to make you upset.
I understand why people like them, and they can be fun animals. I like kittens. If you can somehow find a way to keep them in the kitten stage,
they're very
that would be
naughty.
awesome.
They're very, very naughty. I remember when my brother's cat was a kitten, and he was like just tearing up everything. And see, people who haven't been to Wisconsin and Michigan don't know what they are missing. Lake Michigan is awesome. Yes, 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 yes. It's beautiful. And Lacey says, I'm allergic to, and Josh doesn't like cats. Okay. Man, Lacey, we have like parallel lives, I feel like. It's so perfect.
Let's see here. What else do we have? I just saw one. Oh, are we Wolverines or Spartans fans? And do we still like you because you're a Buckeye fan?
I'm indifferent.
I'm a Wolverines fan. I hate the traffic in Ann Arbor, but I hate the traffic in Lansing more. But as far as you being a Buckeyes fan, it's okay. It's just a minor character flaw.
We can all be friends.
It's okay. It's okay. It's a minor character flaw. We all have them.
Your dating anniversary is May 3rd. Oh my gosh, this is so trippy.
Lacey's dating anniversary is the 3rd. That's awesome.
That is crazy.
Right
oh my gosh, that is really trippy. We have a lot in common. That's so funny. How long have you been living in Michigan?
My
all our
entire life.
Yep. All our entire lives.
We don't even really have any plans to move, do we?
No.
We love it. We absolutely love it. If I had to move anywhere, it would probably be Alaska, just because.
Or Wisconsin, right?
Like that's you know, the thing is, like, if it's one of those, like, I'm gonna trade up if I'm gonna trade, and Alaska, I
Sorry,
can see.
Wisconsin, we love you.
Yeah, we do love Wisconsin, but Wisconsin's like very similar, I feel like, in a lot of respects, and so.
That's so funny. Ooh, favorite non-knitting hobby.
Favorite non-knitting hobby? You guys know. Come on now. Man, how about you?
Oh gosh. See, like knitting has
She's
taken.
She's about to reveal she does nothing but knit.
I was gonna say, like, pretty much knitting and spinning. That's it. I'd say. Well, I used to do a lot of music, and I feel like that has taken the back seat since I really got into knitting. But I used to really got into guitar for a while, and I love that. I've been playing piano since I was 4. So I love piano. It's another like way that I like to relax is playing piano. And I love singing. I took singing like voice classes when I was in high school and college. I loved that, and I did choir. So that would probably be my favorite non-knitting hobby. I'm really into dog stuff, like training and things like that. Although you would not know that our dogs are trained. But yeah. Let's see. How deep does the snow get? Depends on
it really
the place
depends.
and the year.
Yep, we have like a snow belt in Michigan that is kind of right in the middle, actually, of the lower peninsula, and it can get as deep as 4 or 5 feet sometimes. I mean, it is crazy how much snowfall we can get.
Like West Michigan will get it really bad. I know my brother who lives over on the west side. He will get double what we get over here.
There are times, it really depends on the year. Some years we will get maybe a total of like a foot. I mean, across the whole year, like a little inch here, maybe an inch there, and then it's green until Christmas.
I feel like that's rare though. Although,
it is rare. It is very rare to get that, but we do get it.
It does happen. That was a couple of years ago we had that, and then let's see, we had one year. I remember maybe 5 years ago or so, we got dumped on.
It can get so deep that you can't even back your car out of the driveway.
You get snowed in for sure.
You will get snowed in.
Those are the best. I love getting snowed in. I love it.
Because everybody understands. You call your boss and you're like, I literally can't move my car. I cannot move my car. And even if I could, they haven't even come down the street with the plows yet.
And isn't it, I'm sure in the lower peninsula you see it a lot, but even in the UP, won't they have snowmobiles as another form of
especially once you get actually just a couple of miles north of us, it's pretty common to see people riding snowmobiles down the side of the road.
Yeah, I know a lot of people will do it for fun too, but I know up north they'll do it as another car.
Other than at home, where's your favorite place to knit?
Okay. As of 2 or 3 weeks ago when we went camping on the beach, knitting. I had never knit on the beach, and that was, oh my gosh, that was amazing. I loved knitting on the beach, and I had a sock project, so it wasn't like I had a blanket in my lap or something. But other than that, I mean, I really like car knitting because that, that's kind of fun when we're driving somewhere because you'll usually drive, so I can just knit away.
Oh, I completely forgot to answer the other part of the question.
What was that?
The what's your favorite activity outside?
Oh yeah. Okay, what's yours?
Well, besides hunting, motorcycling hands down.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care whether it's road or dirt bike. I don't currently own a bike. I sold mine a long time ago, but
Yeah.
I'm looking to get a new one at some point.
Yeah.
I miss riding so much.
Let's
To the beach
see.
today, and I was knitting a sock there.
Oh, that's
All right
awesome.
on.
Awesome. I'll
Yeah.
have to check that out. Yes, it's the best.
It is.
So good.
What's your favorite ice cream flavor, babe?
Oh, I'm gonna choose. Okay, so Ben and Jerry's. That's the only way.
Are
I
you
can
kidding?
pick.
That's not a flavor.
It totally is. It's totally
I've got a
flavor.
picture somewhere of her with her hands on the glass.
It's
she's
true.
like that for like 5 minutes with her
Every
hands on the
time.
glass of the freezer with her nose pressed up against the glass, looking at all of the flavors
He did.
like
He
a
took
kid in a
picture.
candy store.
He was like, "All right, here, you go pick out your favorite ice cream. I'll be over in Sporting Goods for like a half
Yep.
hour." So it's I thought he left. So
She was literally like, I have proof somewhere. She's face pressed
Okay.
right up against the glass.
I really like American Dream. I finally did decide that I really like that one. That's a really, really good one. Yeah. Oh no, there was a new one. It was like cheesecake truffle or something. That was really good. I like that one
that's
too.
good.
But like generic across the board, like that's not just like a Ben and Jerry's only. It would probably be Superman.
Superman's
I love
pretty good.
Superman ice cream.
Yeah. The amount of dye in
Or Moose
Superman
Tracks.
freaks me out, if you know what I'm saying.
Scary.
That amount of blue dye does funny things
Next
to you.
question. Next question.
My favorite's probably mint chocolate chip.
Oh yeah, definitely. Sorry, I'm still that fish food is the best. I don't know if I've had that one.
Fish food.
I might have to try that
I
one.
see it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've had that one.
I recently discovered your podcast and I love it. I'm wondering if you have any of your yarns in any shops. I live in Michigan also. Well, hello, fellow Michigan.
Yes, hello. We do not have any in any shops, just on our Etsy website. But yeah, we haven't. I don't think we're going to be. Oh my gosh, what is it even called?
Wholesale.
Yes, wholesale. I almost called it retailing. I don't think we're going to be a wholesale.
Go get it.
Go get it.
We will.
Definitely. But yeah, we don't have them in any shops at the
Right.
moment.
Right. Let's see here.
Ooh, how did I get started grooming dogs?
Yeah.
That's kind of an
did
interesting
you do
story.
that?
Well, it's not really that interesting, but I was when I was living in Lansing, I was in my own apartment and I needed another job because I just had a part-time job at Home Depot and just doing like stock and stuff. I don't know anything about do-it-yourself tools and wood and stuff. Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
What are you talking about? Are you trying to say power tools?
Anytime people, like customers, would walk by me in the store, someone would be stocking, I'd just be like, just go ask him. I don't know. But yeah, so I did that, and then I needed another job, and so I had been applying at PetSmart, and I got in there, and I had actually applied for stock there as well, and didn't even know it. I just wanted to work at PetSmart. And when they were interviewing me, they'd seen that I had been a dog walker, and they were like, "Oh, you would fit really well in our grooming salon. Would you be interested in that?" I was like, "Heck yeah!" I didn't even know that they had a grooming salon because it was way in the back, just like it is at this location.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got hired in as a bather, and they needed more groomers. So after I had been a bather for like only 4 months, it was very fast. They were like, "Well, do you want to go to grooming school?" And which was put on by PetSmart. And you just had like a 2-year contract with them. And I was like, well, I had just gotten a puppy like a couple months before that, and working the 2-job thing was and I was going to school at the time too. It was a mess. I got strep throat a lot that year. And so I was like, yes, because it would be a full-time job, it'd be benefits. I was like, let's do it. I can only have to work 1 job. And so I went away to, it's called Academy. I went away to PetSmart Academy for a month, and they put you up in a hotel. It was really nice. And yeah, I've been grooming ever since, and I really, really fell in love with it. So it was kind of like a means to an end thing. I did it, and Benny's making an appearance. Come here, Benny.
You can probably get him up on your lap.
Yeah, come here, bud. Come here. Oh, there he is. Come here, buddy. Come on. Oh, there's our little guy. This is Benny. Mwah.
Oh yeah, you guys are still on.
Oh yeah, we're still here.
Oh yeah, we're still here. We got another question. Can you show us the best way to unravel this type of yarn to work my projects without getting knots?
Yes, this person was referring to a hank form, which is like this.
So, basically what you want to do, the best way I have found...
He's got to go potty and him outside.
Yeah.
Here, bud.
I'll go solo for a while. So basically, in any hanky yarn, you have ties. Depending on the manufacturer, depends on the amount of ties that you have. It can be, I've seen as little as 2, I've seen as many as like 6. So some of the ties are, well, most of the ties actually are like secondary ties. They basically just weave through the yarn. One of the ties in particular is going to be a main tie. So what I tend to do is I cut all of the secondary ties first, the ones that don't actually tie the yarn to itself, but just separate the strands. I find them by lifting out, and I have to do this with every single skein. If you guys order yarn from us, all of the ties but the main tie are completely cut, so you don't even have to worry about it. You just put it onto a, you guys are probably hearing the
Oh
hot
no,
plate
I
going.
just turned on the kettle.
there's a hot plate with tea in it. So what we take care of all the secondary ties. All you have to do is put the main tie onto the slip. Thank you very much, Lindsay. So you put the hank onto the slip, then you cut the main tie. I usually end up tying one end off to the actual slip because it keeps it from flopping around. And then you put it on a ball line. If you don't have a slip, the easiest way to do it that I found is to put it on 2 chairs, like that. Or if you've got a really willing participant, have them hold it like this while you manually wind it into a ball. But we'll actually, we'll have a video coming out at some point.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
On how to, how to wind up yarn into balls and use a ball winder and whatnot. But what else do we have here? What types of information do you write down when recording a dye recipe? When we record a dye recipe, it's actually different between Tiffany and I in the order that we write things down in. Typically, on my dye page, I've got a section where I list all of the dyes, all of the colors that are present in the actual recipe, and then I list the steps to dye them out in. And I list how the dyes are utilized. Some of the dyes might be like a bath for a base color, and so that'll be indicated on my little dye list. Some of them are speckles, and some of them are like sprayed onto the yarn. It'll all be indicated, and that's how I know how to prepare all of the dyes before the dyeing session.
I feel like you take really good notes.
Thank you.
Mine are a little more like, I mean, it just depends on mine, but sometimes I'll just kind of like write, like I feel like I do a lot of the same things for mine, where I feel like for you have found different, techniques and things like that, so it's not necessarily the same exact way every single time.
Right.
So yeah, if you are dyeing, yarn, just write down as much as you possibly can. Like even if you can even figure out how much water you put in, like that is very helpful. And we're gonna report that one.
Yeah, that's gonna be a negatory.
Yep.
Does your favorite colorway depend on your mood?
For dyeing, I imagine it would be with dyeing, right?
I would assume so.
Yeah, I think for me it always has to do with color. Like my colors, oh my goodness, okay. There we go. So, yeah, usually for me it's my color, usually is always what I'm very, very into, so.
Totally. What else? You should pick one.
Okay. Let's see here. If you were a crayon, what color would you be? Fuchsia.
Fuchsia? Man, I would probably, man, for me it'd probably be green.
Yeah.
You know, I just love
Olive green. You love like olive drab. Like that's one of your colors. Okay.
Totally.
Hopefully that's taken care of. What's your favorite candy?
Oh man, Three Musketeers. Definitely.
Ooh,
No,
those are
no. Coffee Crisp. But you can't get it in America. You can't get it in America.
The podcasting community got us into Coffee Crisp.
Oh man, you guys,
Linda sent it to us.
You guys did us a bad thing.
Yep.
It's delicious.
It's so good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Coffee Crisp is amazing.
Yeah, that was so good. We bought it on Amazon once. Truth. Let's see here.
Will your allergies disappear since you started working with dogs?
Yes and no. When I first started working with dogs, I had gone off of my allergy. I'd started allergy shots and I had stopped taking them, and so I remember when I first started, like when puppies, because you know when you're holding onto a puppy, they just lick you all over, and I would get little hives all over my neck because I am actually allergic to dogs, pretty significantly. Cats are the worst, but pretty allergic to dogs, and then I started taking my medicine more regularly, like Flonase and Allegra, things like that. And then I got back on allergy shots, and that helped a ton. I still will have, like a little bit of congestion, but like I can work at PetSmart just fine and not have any like flare-ups or anything. You know what I mean? Like I'm not sitting there sneezing my cut off or anything. It's usually, I do notice though, and I think generally why it is because we're always like cleaning the dogs. So like, because it's like their dander that does it. Because I notice if I'm working on a very, very dirty dog for a long time, like maybe it's just in for its nails or something, and I'm touching it for a long time, then I will maybe get like a little like contact dermatitis on my arm or something. But it goes away real quick.
We got another question here. One of the questions said, wool from your own animals. This maybe has been said already, but you guys have sheep. We do not have sheep. We would love,
Yeah, we would really love to have sheep. That's definitely something that we would like. So,
what else
I mean,
do have here?
we could probably start to wrap it up if you want to, but honestly, there's a lot of you guys still on here, so this is pretty cool.
Yeah,
so I'm
this is
game with
awesome.
going for a while. Like,
Yeah, me too.
we've actually kept like the same amount of people for the whole time. So thank you guys for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of like
It is.
like a midnight, I got my
And we
socks
appreciate you guys bearing with us on like how we figure out this whole YouTube live thing too. 'Cause
yeah, and especially
I know it's been kind of rocky a little bit,
yeah.
but we'll get there, right? What is the most difficult colorway to dye, hon?
Oh gosh, sweater weather, but we don't dye it anymore. That was the
Sweater
most
weather.
difficult one. Okay, it wasn't difficult though. There's difficult and there's time consuming. That one was just time consuming. Difficult actually is probably my favorite color is October because there's like you just have to like handle it a certain way. So like you just have to kind of think about it. But
Gotcha.
yeah, what about for you?
The most difficult is blueberry crumb cake by far.
Yes.
Getting it consistent is
Yes.
very, very difficult.
Yeah, that one's unruly.
It is very unruly.
I actually almost quit dyeing that colorway before he had come on. I was like, I'm not gonna dye it anymore. I'm not doing it. Let's see. I think we got. Lacey says I've already told Josh that when we get a new house with Lynn, I'm getting some Angora goats. Heck yeah, that would be awesome. Monday night, knit night. Yes, I
Yeah,
love it.
totally.
It's awesome. Are you guys knitting on anything while you watch this? I would be curious to know. That would be fun
Yeah,
to see what everyone's working on.
If I could knit and talk, I'd be knitting right now, but I cannot do it.
You'll get there.
One of these
Oh, Lindsay
days.
says she's using this as a knit night too. Awesome.
Oh, cool.
So
Right on.
fun. So fun.
Ethan, since you have started knitting, do you look at your color placement choices differently? Not a lot, to be honest, because I've seen Tiffany knit so long. Like
Yeah.
you started knitting not long after we got together.
Right.
I think
like consistently.
Yeah, I think it would have that definitely would have been the case had I started dyeing and then started knitting without any previous experience with knitting at all.
However, your dyeing technique changed once you saw people.
Yeah, as I see things become knit up, that's absolutely true.
Yeah,
it does. But as far as the color placement itself, I actually, when I make a colorway, I use a color wheel, and I go and decide like what color scheme, whether it's complementary or, and there's a really cool color calculator online, and I don't even remember exactly what website it is. I know I have it bookmarked, but I use that color calculator every single time, and I try and decide what kind of color scheme I'm gonna go with.
Yeah.
And it computes like all of the colors that you need to work with when you decide like on a base color, and that kind of helps. Sometimes I don't adhere to it exactly, but I definitely use it to try and go in the right direction.
Yeah. Ooh, I think people are letting us know what they're knitting on. Let's see here. Ooh, fun.
All right.
Okay, so we got sweater knitting, socks. Follow Your Path by Caitlin. I love Caitlin. That's a crazy sock lady. Socks, sister shawl by Cozy Up Knits. Test knitting a new sock pattern. Awesome. Oh, stuff you cast on your flags. That's awesome. Virginia working on her first campsite. Oh my gosh, I love the campsite shawl. Love it. I want to make another one actually. Waters linen tee. Oh, cool. Oh, Andy Satterlund. She makes really neat like vintage style. Those are really cool. Like at least vintage inspired. Let's see. Model for a book. Oh, cool. Hohi Locatelli's 2-color socks. 9-inch circulars. I'm a 9-inch circulars too. Knitting a tank top. Just started a sun-kissed shawl. Oh, this is fun, guys.
This is right on, guys.
Knitting night. Love it.
Do we prefer circular or DPNs for knitting socks?
Okay. So I love these for straight vanilla. I love it for like travel knitting. Like, okay, I just want to throw it in my bag and have it with me. I do love DPNs though. I found out I was faster with DPNs. But like these are really nice for like the movies because there's less needles to worry about losing in a movie theater.
Right.
So I like them for that. That's as far as socks. For hats, I really love circular knitting needles, and then I'll use DPNs for like around the crown. But
yeah.
And what about?
I like DPNs for socks. I've tried circulars and I'm just no good with them. No good.
Okay. Campsite shawl and a cardi. Yes. 2 at a time magic loop socks. Yes, I have, and I have mixed feelings about them. I love having both of them done at the same time, and I am working on, because there's like a trick to it where like the way you turn your needles so that you don't get both yarns all mixed up. But I never really got that down, and so it was just a little fiddly for me. So I like it in theory. I really like them if I'm making them for somebody else, because I want to make sure that they match the length and everything, so I don't accidentally. Let's see, knitting on a cotton acrylic yarn for a friend that is allergic to wool. Oh, that's awesome. That's very thoughtful.
What else do we have here? How much time per week do we spend dyeing?
Ooh, I'm like once a month now, and it just kind of happened that way. Once we started, dyeing the yarn, I was able to kind of take a back seat, and it was really nice.
I would say for me, it's between probably 12 and 16 hours a week doing the actual dyeing. Yeah. The administrative stuff, office work,
staining or twisting
up, doing photos,
tagging,
shipping. That's where the rest of the work comes in, for sure.
Definitely.
What was the best happy mistake when dyeing?
Ooh, my favorite color is October. This was when I first started dyeing yarn, and it's one of our colorways, by the way, if you're just tuning in. And I was just trying out different colors and things like that, and I was so
Take care, Shauna.
not happy. Bye, Shauna. Thanks for hanging out with us. I was not happy with how it turned out. But it was still in the pot. This classic thing. Like if you're a dyer, you understand that, don't like write it off until it's dry. And so I was really, really not happy with it. And actually, I had it in the pot, and his dad had come out and looked at the yarn, and his dad is like this amazing, amazing artist, and he's got a great eye for color. And he come out, he's like, "Why are you so upset?" He's like, "This is gorgeous." I was like, "Okay," so I let it dry, and it sold immediately. So. Yeah, that was cool. Your dad is the reason that colorway is still around, and it's a very, very popular colorway come fall. So
yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to dyeing that up.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, we're gonna be doing a double dye session where I'm gonna show them how I dye that colorway. So yeah.
Let's see. Do you dye your yarn again if it didn't turn out the way you wanted? Sometimes, if it's really repeatable and people like it, then yeah, we will re-dye it. If it's not repeatable, then if it's not repeatable...
I was thinking they meant like if you're not happy with it, do you over dye it? That's what I was thinking, sorry.
Oh, well...
So I was like, yes, I do.
Yeah, if we're not happy with it, then yeah, absolutely we would over dye it until we get it to the point where we want it, and then usually it gets sold as a one-of-a-kind happy accident.
Yes, happy accidents is what we call them.
But as far as, like, if we don't like it personally, but people seem to really, really like it, then yeah, we'll continue to dye it. I mean, we're dyeing it for you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Not for us.
But honestly, most of our colorways, we love them all. I can't think of any that I'm like, I wouldn't knit with that. I don't have any of those.
Do you prefer cuff down or toe up?
Oh, I like both. Okay, so originally cuff down, because that was the way I always done it. However, recently I have started doing toe up, and I hate doing cuffs, so I like that I can just get to the knitting quicker with toe up. The toe goes so much faster for me than a cuff.
What else do we have here?
But
Are
I
you
can
guys
cast on a top
still experimenting with self-striping? I think it was mentioned a couple podcasts ago, Ethan, that he hated Gauss. I do hate Gauss starter balls. They are my nemesis.
I got one right here that you wound, though.
I did. Yeah. All 14 hours of winding.
Yeah, it took forever.
But yeah, we're going to do them. We're changing up our dye schedule, actually. And so what we're going to be doing is offering a lot more of the stuff that we normally, we're going to be offering a lot more of the stuff that we normally would carry in the shop on an update, and trying to keep it in stock a little bit longer. If somebody has a custom order or something that they want special done, we're going to dye that on a separate day. And I plan to use the self-striping socks as that separate day, where we're not looking at as much of a volume.
Yeah, where you can take more time with it. And
yeah.
Yep. Let's see. I have a circular sock knitting, but I am loving toe up. Yes. Totally.
Definitely.
I'm the same way. I'm really, really liking it. I'm still like getting used to I still have to look up how to do the cast on for toe up, where with the cuff down I don't have to look. So that I like that for cuff down, but
totally
it's so much faster.
You know what's really funny is this is turning into about as long as everything would if we just didn't have to edit and keep ourselves from going on tangents. Like it's just one big tangent episode. I love it.
It's great.
This has been a lot of fun so far. We are gonna have to wrap up soon though, because we have not eaten.
Oh my gosh,
yet.
It's 10:30.
And
oh my gosh.
And I am way.
I know it was that late.
So we'll
This
do
has been a lot of fun.
a couple more questions. If anybody has questions left, we'll do a couple more.
Yeah, why don't we do that, and then we'll probably sign off for the night, and hopefully this will upload to YouTube. When I did that 30-second test earlier, it took forever to get that thing to upload. So
we'll see.
So yeah, we said, we got part of it filmed till the battery died, but that was like an hour ago, I think. So yeah. So hopefully this will be up for you guys to view on YouTube.
Definitely. All right. Any last questions, guys? It sounded ominous.
Yeah, it did. Oh, I love it.
All right, why don't you ask me a question?
Ooh, okay. Coke or Pepsi?
Coke or Pepsi? Come on now. I thought you guys would still be chatting. Let's make this a regular thing. Hey, yeah, we're gonna do it more often.
Yeah,
absolutely.
definitely.
This has been a lot of fun. We're gonna do it more often.
Definitely.
Coke or Pepsi? It's gotta be Coke. Absolutely Coke. Good night. This was great. Night, Susie.
Yeah, it's good to see you, Susie. Or good to chat with you, Susie.
Thanks for hanging out. Thanks so much, Shelly. We're like,
Aw.
we look like we need
You were like-
bifocals or something. But
Aw.
thanks you so much for fun Monday. Hey, no problem.
Yes,
guys.
thank you guys for hanging out. I think we'll wrap it up here, and I'm gonna figure out how to exit out of this so you guys don't have to look up my nose for very long. So, have a good night, guys.
Have a great night, guys.
and
Thank you so much.
yes, we'll see you later.